any injury updates, but that is probably, if there was anything concerning at all, otherwise, yeah, it would just be the ugly knee injury for Norman Lott. How serious is the back thing for Trey? It sounds like they're just being very precautionary, but we'll hear from Andy a little bit later on. But that was one of the most complete, if not the most complete win of the Mahomes era. It wasn't the most tough opponent. It wasn't the biggest win. Nobody's saying that.
You're not supposed to beat any team in the NFL that badly.
I don't care how bad the Raiders are. You shut out somebody in the NFL, and not just shut them out in an ugly 10-0 game or something where your offense stinks. Shut them out where it's 31-0 and you completely backed off the throttle by the time it was midway through the third quarter or late third quarter, where you were giving up points and putting on 52-yard field goals basically because you didn't want to embarrass Pete Carroll. I'm convinced that's basically what it was, as they just didn't want to embarrass and run up the score. That was one of the most impressive incomplete games in the Mahomes era. I mean, there's so many different historical trends. My favorite one, though, probably is the Chiefs allowing 3 first downs. 3. Chris Jones joked in postgame, Cody, that he's like, he was smiling. He only played 22 plays in the entire game. Basically got a half a day off.
You know who played more snaps? This is a great stat from our Chiefs pre- and postgame host. Alex, do you know who played more snaps than Chris Jones on Sunday? Bob Tunyon got more game action. Now, look, most of those were kneel downs or runs with Brashard Smith. Late in the game, when that thing was settled and over and done, Robert Tunyon played more snaps than Chris Jones in that game. It was a dismantling of a team. I haven't seen the Chiefs, and this might be, and I understand the Colts beat them 40-9 or the other stuff. It's not like other teams won't have a wider win margin. 31 won't be the biggest win margin of the season. I would defy you to find a game when we are all done with 18 full weeks of regular season football gold. I dare you to find a game that was more lopsided than that one. That was a beatdown. The 30 first downs to 3 first downs, 400 yards to 100. Geno Smith finished the day with 67 tidy passing yards. 66 were after the catch, which means they just got tackled the second after they completed any pass of any quantity. Nothing from Genty, and I understand they were hurt. No Jacoby Meyer, no Brock Bowers, but they've been hurt in other games. They've competed in half of their football games. This was a dismantling. This, honestly, it was one of the very few times where you're like, oh, this is embarrassing. Kenny Pickett and Gardner Minshew got in before halfway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was truly one of those rare games that you felt games where you feel like you were dominant before, but this is one of those you just don't see very often. It's the first regular season shutout in the Andy Reid era. They, of course, shut out the Texans in that road playoff game back in 2015. I think it was Niall Davis returning the opening kickoff, and they set the tone there. But this was a divisional opponent. I don't care how bad the Raiders are. A divisional opponent.
Which they needed a divisional win. Those are important. Conference win, those are important.
No doubt. And you give up 96 yards. 96 yards, the fourth fewest in franchise history. The fewest since you gave up 93 to the same Raiders team back in 1997. So it wasn't just your normal beatdown. It was historical. It was so enjoyable, I think, and for everybody to have the rare noon kick and then just a stress-free Sunday. And, people were obviously having a great time back in the parking lot early. I saw a lot of people went back to the parking lot and said, we're just hanging out in the parking lot.
Red zone on. Yeah. A couple of drinks. Look, a lot of this goes to the idea that, and I think we both softened our final score predictions, knowing that this is not how the NFL works, Gold. We're tell me somewhere on paper. We did a topic on Friday. Show me somewhere on paper in which it makes sense the Raiders are going to compete in this football game. We came up with, I guess Max Crosby could be good. End of list. That was it. And so when you start looking at that, it was I expected them to kick their ass. I kind of think it should be a blowout. But it's hard to predict those in the NFL because things go differently a lot of times. I could give you 1,000 stats that point out the ass kicking. I think it was Josh DeBow over at AP. He'd point out the Chiefs had 100 yards on offense on the first drive of their game because they had a penalty. So they had to go 100 yards. The Raiders had 95 in the game. So the Chiefs on the very first drive on offense scored enough points and had more yards than the Raiders. If they had just never touched the ball again and they just erased the time off the clock in which they possessed it but scored no more points, they still would have won the game. It's insane. It's nice, though, to say this is a team whose ass you should kick. They are not good. You are significantly better than them, and you're playing a lot better than them. And then go out them and beat them, not just in a blowout way, but an embarrassment way. Like you took it to them.
There were a lot of moments that were, I'm sure, just demoralizing for the Raiders. The one play that stood out the most to me. So I don't know if it ended up out of a many great plays for the Chiefs, but Xavier Worthy, there was one where Jamal Adams for the Raiders had the play sniffed out. I think it was like an end around maybe to Xavier Worthy, and this is in the second half. And you're like, oh wow, Jamal Adams, he's right there. Like he played it well. They had him. But it didn't matter. Xavier Worthy's too damn fast and just outran him. And then Jamal Adams just laid flat on the ground. He was like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? That was one of many demoralizing plays. And this was, by the way, Trent McDuffie in the locker room yesterday talking about, he kind of agreed about the complete performance.
I think so. I mean, I've never been a part of a game where, man, we even had a shutout. So I know I'm going to enjoy this one, definitely. And shoot, hopefully we can stack a few more of these up.
He was asked, is this the most complete performance he's been a part of?
How could it not be?
That was kind of the theme, as you can imagine, in the locker room for many guys that spoke. We'll hear from Travis Kelce, who spoke in the locker room, which you guys know nowadays that's kind of a rarity. So you definitely want to hear what Travis Kelce had to say about Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to that and the offense as a whole. But that is, as much as we'll discuss the offense, the defense, I don't care if it's Geno Smith. I don't care if Brock Bowers didn't play. The defense doing that in back-to-back weeks. Remember, they held the number one offense a week ago to 17 points in Jared Goff and the Lions, who were fully healthy on offense. And then they just did this to Geno Smith. And it wasn't like it was just, Geno Smith is throwing 5 interceptions, 3 interceptions. No, Geno Smith.
They only sacked him once.
Yeah, only one sack. And Geno Smith did not have turnovers. That was, remember, he led the league in interceptions. This was just a flat-out, no,
you're not getting 10 yards.
Second, third down, you are not getting an inch.
They finished the game with, because of the sack, 70 total passing yards. That includes Kenny Pickett's 8. So 70 total passing yards, 25 total rushing yards, Gold. Do you hear that? Like, what? I mean, teams get that in a quarter. Like, what are we doing? Like, the number of players who, I can't even imagine. Like, the Chiefs had, I don't know, 7 or 8 players who had at least 25 receiving yards, and the Vegas Raiders had 1 singular. Just Trey Tucker and his 5 sick catches for 33 yards. It was just the fact, and we know this because Andy doesn't run up the score. He doesn't like to put backups in too early. Gardner Minshew got in the game before the third quarter was over. And then Andy did what I think is a more embarrassing way to handle it, which is like for the couple of teams I was good on that were good as a kid, or teams that were good against our teams as a kid, rather than let Gardner Minshew get loose and get a little work in, he made that man just hand the ball off 47 consecutive times. He didn't even let him pretend to open it up. He didn't even let the man throw. He just said he did not throw a single pass. Gardner Minshew played an entire quarter of football in which they just said, hand the ball off. Let's get to the end of the game. Yep. We've embarrassed them enough.
Yep. And they would rather have, get a turnover on fourth down than kick a chip shot field goal. They'd rather punt than kick a 54-yard field goal with Harrison Butker late. And I think that was also just to get a clean game out of Harrison, which was nice to see. It's the first time all year where there's nothing negative there. Thank goodness. Hopefully that gets him confident moving forward in a big game coming up on Monday night against the Commanders. But yeah, that was just a demoralizing defeat if you're the Raiders, and I loved every second of it yesterday. Let's talk about this offense, though. Rice, Worthy, Brown. It took until the second quarter for all three of them to be on the field at the same time. We were wondering how long they would take, and I still think they were intentionally holding a few things back for what their further plans are for all three on the field at the same time. But what do you guys expect for this offense moving forward? 5 drives for Mahomes, all 5 result in scores, 4 for touchdowns. 3 of their drives were not just short field set up by the defense. No. 16 plays for 94 yards, 17 plays for 84 yards, 9 plays for 92 yards.
Some of them were long.
With ease, they had a lot of 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, but with ease, they were able to convert, and they spread the ball around. You were going through Geno's numbers. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball to 9 different receivers, or had 9 different completions, I should say, in the game. That was at one point 3 more completions than Geno Smith had in the entire game.
Yeah, he had one point completed a pass to more receivers than, as you pointed out, Geno had completions. Look, I feel very good. Every once in a while, a lot of times on these shows we're wrong, Before the game, when we were talking with Briscoe, I had said, I think before Rasheed Rice even steps on a football field, I think this is the best offense in football. I feel only more emboldened by that stance now. And look, it's easy to sit and print up T-shirts that say everybody got to eat and make it your rallying cry. You still have to actually execute that plan. I'd say they did a pretty good job there. The yardage totals were 54, 42, 42, 39, 35, 35, 28. Does that sound like and for the guy, Hollywood Brown, who only had 14 yards, he also had a touchdown. So he got in the end zone. The guy out of the entire group with the least amount of receiving yardage ended up in the end zone. So, he got his, too. There was only one target monster. It was Rasheed Rice. He managed to do that in very few routes run, which we can talk about when we get to Rice individually. Their offense, I don't see how they don't end up as the number one offense in NFL by the time the season is done as far as personal perception. I understand they're behind the 8 ball in the points per game category in the sense that maybe over the course of the season, they won't be the number one points per game offense when it's all said and done. But I think we'll all universally agree that they are the number one offense in the NFL. They are up to already the 7th best offense in the NFL. And that's only by taking
you score 30, you score 30 and 31 in back-to-back games, and you scored 28 the week before.
You scored 30 the week before that.
Yeah,
over
so
30
all of a sudden,
that.
the first 2 weeks of what this offense looks like a mirage at this point in time, and it kind of was because they didn't have their full arsenal and everything, and this offense is full go at this point. They have a quarterback who's always been the best quarterback in the league, but now the stats are making it to where nobody can even try to poke holes in that, right? That to me is where it's changed. I know last year Josh Allen was the MVP, and all offseason there was a ton of conversations nationally is Josh Allen now the best quarterback in the league? And we said heading into this year, if you hated that conversation in the offseason, well, then you better hope Mahomes and the Chiefs have a bounce-back offensive year. Otherwise, people will say, see, this cements the new status quo or whatever. Now, there's no new status quo. It's been Patrick Mahomes, and it remains Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football. His stat line yesterday, again, I mentioned the drives that he had were absolutely absurd. He had 200 yards of offense after essentially 2.5 drives.
I don't want to look up his pacing stats yet, but I imagine it's 40 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, another 500 rushing, and 6 or 7 touchdowns there. That. And look, that is certainly part of why I think they're the best offense in football. And I'll say they're not shorthanded by any means. They're more than that on there. They were missing for a good chunk of the game. They're starting left tackle and they're starting right guard. So it's not like the offensive line was at full strength for a portion of that game. Not that it mattered because of how bad just in general, the Raiders are. But it's hard to look at it and say, okay, they got Rice. And he already immediately established himself as the number one wide receiver.
Yep.
That play, the biggest play of the entire game offensively, where Travis Kelce's standing by himself. Watch where the defenders go. They all forget about Travis Kelce. Forget about Travis Kelce? Well, no wonder he's standing down the sideline for 44 yards.
That's the challenge you have if you're a defense, even when they'll face a much better defense than the Raiders. I mean, it wasn't just Travis Kelce. There was Noah Gray had a big reception. So the Raiders were trying to pick their poison a little bit, and it left both tight ends open throughout that game. You notice the first 2 times they had Brown, Rice, and Worthy on the field at the same time. The very first time it was an offside penalty, or a false start. It was an offside, sorry.
Yeah.
So it didn't count. Then the next 2 weren't big pass plays. They were actually Mahomes runs. Not that we want to see Patrick Mahomes running all that often.
No, but I like when he uses it for a big play.
But what it did, if you notice, it spread everybody out. There was so much open space in the field for Patrick Mahomes to run. And so that's another aspect of when you have that kind of speed on the field from the wide receiver position. I mean, my favorite formation didn't result in a huge play, but they had 5 wide. They had Brashard Smith out wide, I think on the near side of the field all the way out. And then they had Rice, Worthy, and Brown, and then one other player. I can't remember who the other player would have been. Tyquan Thornton, sorry. That's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed on the field at one point in time, and I think it was just a Mahomes run.
And did exactly what we thought they would do and this is where I like their balance. Throw it to Rice a bunch, use Kelce on third downs, use everybody in the red zone, including Rice, and then twice a game. And this is twice a game, try Tyquan Thornton. First time barely missed, actually hit Tyquan on the shoulder pad. You could make an argument he should have made that catch. Second time complete, Gold. We don't need to use Tyquan a lot. Just twice a game, that man's going to run deep, and you're going to want to go ahead and fire it down his way and give him a chance at it. And so, like, the balance in that game is what really stood out in the early portion. Throwing it to everyone, running it to everyone getting their yardage. They used it. It just felt like it's felt really easy for the last couple of weeks. And I think it goes back to about the second half of that Giants game. Jesse Newell pointed out, and this was before Gardner Minshew came in the game. So I don't know what happened after. But before Gardner, I think they punted once. In the last 10 quarters, the Chiefs have only punted one time under Patrick Mahomes, which means they're scoring, and one turnover on downs when they went for it on fourth. They're scoring on every drive they touch the football right now.
This was the offensive dream that they had 2 off seasons ago.
Yep.
And it got derailed due to injury or suspension, whatever, offensive line play, whatever the reasons, a lot of reasons why it got derailed. But you saw a glimpse, and now it's here, of why they believed in their offseason approach at the wide receiver position 2 off seasons ago, and how they allocated, resources in the draft, and should they have drafted a receiver higher or whatever. No, obviously they drafted Worthy in the first round 2 years ago or a year ago at this point in time, and it's all coming together to where they're an offense that nobody's going to want to play. Like, nobody's going to want to play this offense, and there's plenty of more wrinkles to come off of this. Like, once they had a nice little cushion of the Raiders, and I'm not even talking late, when they decided to just completely run the ball every single time with Rashard Smith late in garbage time. I'm talking about just when the few times we didn't see Rice, Worthy, and Brown on the field as much as we all probably expected at the exact same time. That
nobody had to play
by design, but that's by design. Like, wait till later in the year in a game in which they have to have it. I don't know. Maybe that's Buffalo on the road in a couple weeks. I don't know.
Might
be right.
Well,
maybe it's
Colts.
the Colts. The way the Colts keep on playing. My goodness.
We'll have to talk about them later this week for sure. What it stands out the most to me is, there was a game, was it the second game of the year? Maybe it was Philly. Earlier this year, I remember we came on here on a Monday after the Chiefs had lost, and we were talking about a drive in which they had 3 completed passes for 9 yards and then had to punt. And I was like, what is this offense? I don't want to watch this anymore. You completed 3 passes and you couldn't get 10 yards? Does it feel the same to everyone else when you watch the Chiefs right now, that every single play is good for 7, 8, 9, 10 yards? Everything is in bunches. They get it in these big, huge swaths. Nothing's 1 or 2. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what makes their offense seem dangerous, is everything feels like it goes for 9 yards, 10 yards. Like they get these medium amount of yardage. Everything doesn't have to go for 60, but they get 10 fairly regularly.
And there's a trickle-down effect over to the defense, too. McDuffie mentioned that, what the offense rolling does for them.
Man, I love it. I ain't gonna lie, that offense over there rolling, and it's only made the defense more confident, you know what I mean? So shout out to them boys getting things together. I know Rasheed coming back, brought a little extra thing to that offense, 2 touchdowns, but yeah, man, it was a good game.
Yeah, the defense, they all, as you said it, I think earlier, already before the show even started, when we were talking to Kramer out there in the bullpen for some of the social videos and everything. Like when the offense is having fun, everything flows. It's not, it's so cliche to talk about, complementary football and all this kind of stuff. But when the offense is going like that, the defense, their job is a million times easier.
Take chances,
Spags want to be even more aggressive. The energy level on the sideline is a completely different level when the offense is scoring and making some great plays. The vibes are pretty darn good there throughout the game on the sideline when the Chiefs are playing at that level. And the defense essentially got like half the game off. I mean, that was the awesome thing too. So you got some. I know they had the Norman Lott injury stinks, and that didn't look good at all. And I'm worried that he might be done. But the fact that you're able in a stretch of games where you're still a few weeks out of the bye, and you've been playing some big-time opponents or will play some big-time opponents, it doesn't hurt to kind of have half the game off.
You can always tell when this team's feeling it, when they start having fun. A key example of that, when they were only up 7-0, 4th and 1 goal, and then all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes comes to the line of scrimmage and pulls a little trickery.
Yeah, this was Mahomes.
Acting.
Yeah, this was Mahomes talking about faking out the defense a little bit.
I think it comes from all my State Farm commercials. No, I'm joking. The Nags actually came up with the idea. We had talked about of doing the hard count, trying to draw the teams off sides. I can't remember who I watched do it a couple of years ago, and they had said that, and so I was like, I'm going to use that as part of my acting to like try to get the defense just to relax a little bit. But at the end of the day, we still got to go get it. I thought the offensive line did a great job of driving off the ball, and then Kareem in those situations is money.
They always do this stuff against the Raiders too.
Oh, yeah. They did the ring around the rosy and the other stuff. Look, him saying, this effing play never effing works.
Yeah.
Stepping up to the line and then running the 4th and 1 play anyway. A play I didn't think they'd actually go for, Gold. We talked about this before. Their aggressiveness had typically been pretty limited to teams they respected. It's the best sign for the offense. We talk about this all the time. When they're doing silly, insane stuff, Gold, like the ring around the rosy play, that's when they're at their best. That's when they're feeling their best. That's when they feel like they can do anything and it doesn't matter.
Well, they're going for it on their own 40 on 4th and a foot.
Try to draw him offside.
It fucking never fucking works, man.
Sorry. Mahomes says, Coach, it doesn't
there they go.
work.
They
He was faking it.
There they go.
That's what I like even better is he's actually right when he's saying that. It does never work.
These teams do it all the time. Although, actually, I did see one team successful with I think it was Stafford got the Jags to jump on that on a 4th down or something in London.
You got to be smarter than that. You know what they're doing. And in this case, obviously, Patrick Mahomes pulling the double switch. Flip back. I like when they're doing stuff like that. It's always a good
Gardner
sign
Minshew in the backfield, even though it was that play would have worked too, by the way. It was a false start. Walk-in touchdown. Mahomes was asked about that in post-game too. He said the issue also was they kind of screwed up the cadence on it. They were talking during the week whether it should be Gardner Minshew doing the cadence or him, and I think it was Trey Smith that ended up jumping on that particular play. But Rasheed Rice had a walk-in touchdown.
Are these plays they were planning on pulling out on someone else? Or are these the one these are fun plays, but we're not running these against a serious opponent. We're trying to win football games. Why are they running all their
I think it's setting
really silly plays, setting something else up?
Yeah, you put it on film. You put it on tape. And so now an opponent in the future has to, potentially acknowledge that. And so maybe it's in the AFC title game, you go out with the same formation. What's the different wrinkle? They got 5 or 6 wrinkles off of that particular formation where Minshew's in the backfield with Mahomes. And I think Andy Reid, we all know to keep everybody engaged and all that at Pratt, he wants them to have some fun. And so it's Gardner Minshew going up against his old team. It seemed like the right week to try to get him an opportunity to get a touchdown.
This is the tough part of the NFL. Someone said, hey, how did the Chiefs lose to the Jags? Their offense stinks.
Yeah, I know. That sucks.
It
ticked me off more yesterday.
How did the Patriots lose to the Raiders? Look, if the Chiefs had beaten the Jags, a game that they definitively had in control and should have won and gave it away, they'd be winners of 5 in a row. They'd be in first place in the division. And we'd be having a very different, very, very, very different conversation about just how dominant this team is. Patrick Mahomes said in postgame, he's still not happy with what this team's record is. That's why it's going to be, in the next 4 games are going to be interesting because they have to take on Washington, have to go on the road to Denver, have to go on the road to Buffalo, have to play the Colts, Dallas. I think the next 5 weeks are a lot of opponents that will tell you where the Chiefs are.
Monday's football coverage presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success at Busey Bank. They've been building business and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com. Let's talk about the AFC West yesterday. One result went the Chiefs' way. Another was very frustrating to see play out. And we'll talk a little baseball. Yes, even on a Monday. That's what happens when you have a historical performance in a Game 7 tonight.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
It's football season and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Danon Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yuengling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. B.G. Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
For over 36 years, Metal by the Foot has been your source for steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
First and 20 for the Chiefs at their own 16. Orbit motion by Xavier Worthy. Snap to Mahomes. It gets to four-man rush. Mahomes with time. Steps up. Slings it late. He's got Kelsey. 35-40, 45-50. Kelsey on the move and into Raider territory. A gain of 44 yards. Who benefits from all active finally? Travis Kelsey. Because you can't shade him and double him anymore.
Mitch Holthus on the call yesterday right here on 96.5 The Fan. We will certainly get back into this Chiefs offense at 11 o'clock in the return of Rasheed Rice, what it meant for him, but as Mitch alluded to there, what it means for Travis Kelsey and the rest of the offense. It means a dominant performance like that offensively where they were unstoppable on a drive-by-drive basis. So we'll get there in just a bit. But the AFC West, it was shaping up for a little bit to be a perfect day for the Chiefs, like all the way around. The Chargers got their butts kicked against the Colts. I thought the Chargers were going to be way more competitive than that. And then the Broncos were down 19-0, and they score 33 points in the fourth quarter to come all the way back against Jackson Dart and the Giants.
What were the Giants doing?
That was a terrible mistake by Jackson Dart. That interception was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
That one was
as good as he's
egregiously
been. That was really, that was a rookie mistake.
I don't know how to so this is always the same thing. A win's a win. Feel happy. Take it to the bank. You're in first place in the division. 7 full games into the NFL season. That means something. The Broncos get to use that. Obviously, they're still going to face the Chiefs 2 more times this season. Great. I would feel not great if I were a Broncos fan walking out of that game.
What?
Because it took a miraculous performance.
Yeah, but that's just how sports work. I mean, they're probably feeling great. They stole a game they had no business coming back and winning. Yeah. That's why you feel great. Yes, overall, their offense did not do anything for 3 quarters. And so, do I now think their offense is just going to score 30 points a game? No, but when any team that wins a game like that to me, the dangerous thing...
Could boost them.
Yeah, the dangerous thing is that can be something now you have ultimate belief. If you're Sean Payton, that's a huge win for you because later on, I don't know who the Broncos have next week, but whoever they have next week or the week after, anytime this season, if the Broncos are trailing by 2 touchdowns or something at any point of the game, they know they're not out of the game. That's what they can legitimately sell that to themselves because they've done it. That is something that's very powerful to have in your back pocket as a coach and as a player when you know that, hey, no, we were down 19, guys. You remember? We were down 19 entering the third quarter or the fourth quarter, and we ended up scoring 33 points. This game's not over yet. That's something that they can all fully buy into. I thought it was a massive win for Denver.
They've won 4 games in a row. And then we'll talk about the Chargers here in a minute, who have shockingly, who could have seen it coming, fallen off the planet after their 3-0 start against 3 divisional opponents. They have had genuinely one of the most intriguing 3-week runs I can remember. They were down 17-3 in the fourth quarter to Philadelphia, won. Beat the New York Jets, in which they were definitely the better team, but also could not score in London.
Right.
And so scraped out some hideous 13-11 win, and then needed, 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter, and scoring all 33 points of their 33 points in the fourth quarter in order to beat the Giants. They're a good football team. They're definitively the second best team in the division, which you and I thought they were going into the year. I think that has been made clear. They do have offensive problems, and I don't think that should be ignored. They're currently, and I'll tell you where the Chargers are in a minute, where the Chiefs are in a minute if you want. They're currently 17th in the NFL in points per game on offense, 4th in the NFL in points per game on defense. They're actually behind the Chiefs now. Chiefs are 3rd best after the shutout in points per game on defense in the entire NFL.
That'll help you out when you don't give up any points for a week.
Shutout doesn't hurt, right? Certainly doesn't hurt. But so when you stack it up right now, they're going to have to find some things on offense that actually make them slightly more dangerous if you're Denver. I don't think they have to, again, you don't have to feel bad. Win's a win. They've won 4 games in a row. 3 of them were by the skin of their teeth, but they're wins. And so I'm just saying, they could be trouble in any week. They can lose to Dallas this week, Houston 2 weeks from now, whatever. Or are they on a bye? Nope, they don't have a bye until week 12. So when you're looking at their schedule, they can lose to anybody, but they obviously can beat most teams. Chargers. Their defense is not good, and their offense is also not great. It's better than their defense, but maybe this was they managed to get the defense together for a single season goal, and then it fell apart. Is that my assumption? Because they were pretty bad on defense 2 years ago, really good on defense last year, and they're back to being below average.
They had no answer for the Colts. Now, the Colts are the number one offense in football. That's part of it, but they could not get a stop whatsoever. Then a few times where they were able to move the ball offensively earlier in the game, Justin Herbert made a terrible interception in the end zone, I think late in the first half or so.
Right when they were close to maybe clawing away back in.
Yeah, they're a team that's struggling right now. After starting 3-0 with 3 divisional wins, they have the same record as the Chiefs right now, 4-3. Now they have division wins. That's the one thing that's going for them. But Justin Herbert, as great as he played the first 3 weeks, yes, injuries contribute to this, but he has made some really bad decisions. You can tell the pressure is on for him, and he's probably forcing some things, feeling like he's got to make everything happen, and that has led to him making a lot of mistakes. When he was able to just kind of play free and easy and everything was going well, he obviously was playing great.
Yeah, but the pressure
now when your defense is playing the way it is and you're having to come back down 14, down 20 in some cases like yesterday, he's forcing some things.
Like they had a touchdown on 3 straight drives, and that would normally be like a wow. And Justin Herbert leads the league in passing yardage after 420 yards yesterday. But they scored a touchdown on 3 straight drives. They trailed when he took possession of that ball, 21-21-21. So like, okay, I guess. What kind of defensive options are you seeing that in the third and fourth quarter when you're down 3 touchdowns? You think the Colts are rolling out the real tough squad? You think they're running out the ace level defense? Because something tells me probably not. In their last 4 games, they've lost to the Giants, lost easily to the Commanders, barely beat the Dolphins, and got their ass kicked by the Colts. Things are going south for the Chargers, and in a hurry. I think the injuries have caught up, and I think some of the talent problems that we've talked about with their roster and why you and I both liked the Broncos before. I will still say,
I thought they were going to put up way
clearly
more
coming down to a fight in that
yesterday.
game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to win the game. Quite honestly, I thought they were going to beat the Colts, and they were never really in that game after the first quarter.
I'm done down the Colts. Okay, count me out on that. I'm done saying, eventually clocks turn in midnight. Daniel Jones is playing at an MVP level. Shane Steichen has, and to someone's point, Steichen has pretty much been the quarterback whisperer anywhere he's went. That was the best year of Jalen Hurts. This has been the best year of, obviously Daniel Jones. Maybe that just speaks to Anthony Richardson. Maybe just stinks. He's the only quarterback maybe he couldn't fix. I don't even love their wide receivers. They're okay.
Wow, they have,
yet it doesn't matter.
It's a great coaching job too, because Shane Steichen's the favorite to be coach of the year, and if they keep this up, he'll easily win this. If they win the AFC South, it'll be a pretty simple decision, no debate. He's been the favorite ever since week 2. Because of the surprise start. But you mentioned their weapons. Everybody it's a team that's full of role players, and usually that's viewed as a negative, and an insult. But no, Michael Pittman has a specific role. He does it. Downs does it. Warren, obviously, they use in multiple ways. Jonathan Taylor's the leading rusher in football. He's having a great season. They got guys that all are doing their role properly, and they've been able to stay healthy offensively right now. What's his name? Lou Anarumo, who 3 years ago, was viewed as the best defensive coordinator in football, and then the Bengals stunk last year, and he was a scapegoat, and he sucks, and all this, and now look what he's doing with the Colts defense. Maybe it turns out they just didn't have any good players defensively anymore in Cincinnati, and so Lou Anarumo's doing a hell of a job defensively for Indy. No, they're real. I still, yes, regular season-wise, I got to stop doubting them. You could give me 2 other teams, not 3. 2 other teams I would bet on.
Don't go too strong.
2 other teams I would bet on to win the AFC before I would even consider them. I still don't think the Colts are going to go to the Super Bowl, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
But they're going to win 12, 13 games.
What stood out the most so far is in the divisional stuff is that I'm just not that. First, Geno's been awful. He's having a wretched year. He looks back to New York Jets Geno this season. He looks terrible.
Yeah, he's been bad.
But Bo Nix and Justin Herbert have not been impressive. That's what's partially stood out about the division so far this year, and why I'm still relatively confident the Chiefs are going to win this division, and I don't think I'm alone on that currently. I'm sure there were some national people who were doubting it for a while. I'm sure you'd say that, and Drew would say
they're
that.
Favorites to win the division.
Yeah, as they should be. This isn't like the Ravens who were favorites to win the division there for a while, and none of us could figure it out, although Lamar Jackson's supposed to come back this week. This is completely different than that. It's just I have not been blown away by what I've seen out of Justin Herbert or what I've seen of Bo Nix. They seem to have relegated back to not top 10 quarterbacks, but the 10th best, right? The 11th best. And they've just been hovering in that range where you expect them to compete for the division to enter that category. Some of Daniel Jones entered that category this season. before they did. And that's been the thing that's always stood out. We don't normally talk baseball, and we'll get back to football here.
Not on a Monday.
In like 5 minutes. On a Monday after a Chiefs win, and admittedly a Chiefs win that did not have a ton to like diagnose in the how do they get better department, which is great for sports talk. We don't ever talk baseball on a Monday, not even baseball playoffs, not even the World Series, unless the Royals were in it. I'm sorry. Shohei Otani had, on paper, might be the single greatest baseball game of all time. And I will no longer be entertaining any conversation about who the best player in baseball is unless your answer is Shohei. And there's still someone out there that's going to try to argue someone else, and I don't have the energy anymore, Gold. He's the single greatest player who's ever played the sport.
Yeah, so you were saying the debate for this year. I don't think it's not even just right now.
He's the single greatest player who's ever played baseball, ever.
Correct.
And we're watching it currently, and it's incredible.
3 home runs, 10 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched. It was the Shohei Otani game to get the Dodgers to the World Series. This is how the third one sounded.
Otani, did he? Otani! Otani has done it again! His third home run!
He got the mega contract over $700 million, and at the time, it was like, well, is any player really worth $700 million?
They underpaid him.
He is underpaid. I'm serious. Front Office Sports put out some numbers over the weekend after
Man's underpaid.
And the Dodgers have already gotten all the money back. Mm-hmm. Now, they haven't paid out the full contract yet because, as we know, it's deferred. But they have already made the money back in dynamic ticket pricing, winning the World Series marketing, basically having an entire country in Japan, Dodgers fans now.
Yep.
They have made all that through sponsorships, everything back. So at the time when people were the Dodgers, you're like, what are you paying this guy this much money for? They've already made their money back. And remember, they have years and years still left with Shohei Otani, and they're probably going to win the World Series. Let's be real. Like, I'm excited for Game 7 tonight. I hope the Mariners win. The Dodgers are winning the World Series. I'm sorry. The Dodgers are winning the World Series. It doesn't matter if the Blue Jays win or the Mariners win.
No.
The Dodgers will win this thing. And you and I have referenced the domination of the Dodgers here as of late over the last 5+ years, and how we want it to get so absurd that baseball is forced to maybe actually consider a salary floor or salary cap. You hear Dave Roberts after their win. He said, there's a lot of talk about the Dodgers ruining baseball. Why don't we win 4 more and really ruin baseball? Well, I hope so, because that's the only way any change is going to happen.
Yeah, in a weird way, I still think it's probably the best thing for the sport that some team, and the Dodgers are already doing it. They'll already be the key piece of evidence in the next collective bargaining agreement to go in there. But we would do this for any sport, so I think it is worth acknowledging. I don't care if it's Michael Phelps as the greatest swimmer who ever lived, or when people are watching quarterbacks or players, you should probably appreciate, and I'm just telling you, like somebody said, what about Barry Bonds?
He was before Otani. I would have put him up there, absolutely.
There is no player in the history of baseball who has played baseball better than Shohei Otani. And I couldn't believe some people were making little stupid excuses out of this, like saying, well, they were up 3-0 in this series, so not a really pressure-packed situation for old Shohei. He pitched 6 1/3 scoreless innings and hit 3 home runs in an AL pennant clincher. No pressure on him. He's doing that over a calendar year. No one's done it better. No one. I don't care if it's like you go back to some like ridiculous Cy Young stats or Babe Ruth's or anyone. No one has ever played this sport better than Shohei. He is putting up little league numbers. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's video game stuff, man. It's video game stuff. You had the faders turned down to rookie mode or whatever in your MLB The Show game.
Yeah, I created Alex Gold in the game, and I slugged 80 home runs that season, and I also pitched for the team.
It's crazy stuff like that. Actually, my answer would have been Barry Bonds before that, for that person texting in, before Shohei Otani existed on this planet. In Major League Baseball. Also, the trickle-down effect of having Otani. It's not just the marketing dollars, but you think Yamamoto signs with the Dodgers if it's not for Otani? They would have signed wherever Otani went. So if Otani would have stayed with the Angels, I'm convinced Yamamoto and Sasaki, who's now turned into a great closer for them, they moved him to the bullpen, and he's dominant too. I mean, their 1 through 4 in the rotation is insane. Otani pitched in Game 4. They were already up 3-0. Otani pitches in Game 4. The fact that he's their 4th option for pitching, because Blake Snell basically pitched, 8 shutout innings or close to it. Yamamoto gave up a solo home run to the first batter and then was perfect the rest of the game. I mean, the Dodgers, we all kind of knew it before the season, and I understand the frustration with the financial element of it, but it's hard not to still be impressed with what Shohei Otani is doing. You think Babe Ruth, who was smoking cigarettes on the bench and stuff, was a better athlete and a better baseball player? Come on.
He did all of it. He does all of it. He led the league in home runs and RBI last year and stole 60 bases. And then in an ALCS, just did what he did. For the last 3 years, he has led the Major League Baseball in on-base percentage and slugging percentage all 3 years, OPS all 3 years, OPS plus all 3 years, on-base percentage 2 of 3 years. This is before I even mention that he pitches. And that's, I've just never seen anything like it. That's it. I've never seen anything like it. I seriously doubt there's probably a 0% chance, Gold, I'll ever see anything like it again.
You got to appreciate it. Yeah, you definitely have to appreciate it. Someone doesn't think that the Shohei Otani contract that they've made their money back. They said, I'm lying. I'm just telling you. Front Office Sports is saying, obviously, did I actually go and do the investigative reporting on the financial disclosures of the Dodgers? No, I have not. I'm just telling you. Front Office Sports, who's a reputable outlet, has mentioned that the 10-year, $700 million contract, according to sources, the Dodgers made back the entirety of the contract in his first season. Remember, this is year 2 in tickets, marketing deals, Japan, global merchandise, and I believe it.
I do
people
too.
how huge the economy is just in Japan to get a lot of the partnerships,
baseball thirst
from Japan alone, let alone ticket sales. I believe it.
Can I say that we don't, we talk a lot about Shohei and the Dodgers and all this. We should crush the Angels more. How did you screw this up so bad? How did you not take advantage of the single greatest player to ever walk the earth? We spent 50 years. Gold, I'm never even close to old enough to having ever watched Babe Ruth. But the story that was told to me all through my childhood is how they traded him for a goat and this whole curse and how the Red Sox screwed it up and it screwed their franchise up forever. We should be talking about the Angels with that same amount of energy. They let the single greatest baseball player to ever walk the earth leave in free agency. It's Shohei, it's been a pleasure. They didn't even get anything in return for him, man. They didn't even get a trade. They didn't even get a player back, for God's sakes. They just let the man walk.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll get back into Rasheed Rice, his return. You want to hear what he had to say from the podium, and also him and Worthy joking around a little bit in the locker room. That's coming up in just a little while. Over the weekend, Missouri got it done with a 2-overtime win over Auburn, their first road game, and they badly needed it. They kept their college football playoff hopes alive.
It was a fight.
That was one of those games where, kind of like what we were discussing, you mentioned how do the Broncos feel about coming from behind. Same thing if you're Eli Drinkowitz. You probably should have lost that game to Auburn the way it was trending at least, and probably thought they were going to. And yet then you end up coming out of it and say, what a gritty win. We kind of got this done. This team didn't quit. All of a sudden it goes from it could have been one of the more devastating losses of the year or the year period because they only have the one anyway to Alabama, to now it ends up being one of their biggest win. If they're able to get to the college football playoff and they got a daunting schedule still ahead of them, that might be the game we look back at.
I will say it's certainly shaping up that the Missouri-Vanderbilt game is going to have a firm decision and who has a massive advantage in getting to the college football playoff. Vandy ranked 10, Missouri ranked 15th. I was prepared when I was watching the game on Saturday to come in here on Monday and be like, as good of a season as Bo Perbula's had. He has had back-to-back weeks in the fourth quarter with a chance to go win a football game for his team, and he stunk in both of those drives. Threw the interception 2 weeks ago, did not move the ball with any kind of effectiveness in the game against Auburn. Now, he eventually got the win, right? They got the touchdown, so he gets let off the hook. But they do have a little bit of a problem, Gold, I'll say, if you need a drive, if they got to put it in the air, if it's push come to shove, there is still a limitation or a ceiling to Bo Perbula and what he can do in that moment. And so these two games really taught me that. And that's their biggest issue, is that in those spots, can he get it done?
Struggles to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
That's I think we've seen teams have adjusted to that a little bit. Ahmad Hardy's incredible, but can they stretch the field? And they're going to be tested to do that. I mean, the schedule only gets tougher for Missouri, but they had to win that game. And to their credit, they found a way to get it done, even though it's probably one of those where probably in years past you would have said that's a game Missouri loses. And that's probably the best sign you can have if you're a Missouri Tiger fan, is that that's a game you normally lose. Normally you don't come back from that, but they did, and that's why maybe this team is different this year.
I think the best part is that Ahmad Hardy could not do a single solitary thing in the ground game, and they still won the game. They just got beat.
They
They got
down.
beat up in the
held
trenches really bad. I mean, they faced potentially a top 5 pick in Keldrick Falk, though. He was really good. And Bo was, it seems like Bo, I don't know what it is with him, but it feels like if his first read's not there, his eyes drop. And he tries to, and I don't know if it's the offensive line's having issues or he's not comfortable. He doesn't feel comfortable.
He had a bad
game. But
and they won.
It felt
Hardy
that way the last
game,
2 games, where, like to your point, Cody, it felt like the last 2 games, it hasn't been easy for him, and it's been difficult to just to stay in the pocket for 3 seconds. It feels like it's been a little bit difficult. I will say this too: if they make the playoff, I know Missouri fans don't want to hear this. They should hope that Drinkwitz is the head coach next year, because if they make the playoff, then I think he very, very well could leave.
Take Florida or something?
Florida. If Florida can't get Lane Kiffin, I think that Drinkwitz would be next. Drinkwitz would absolutely be in the top 3 on the list.
I would watch a documentary on Lane Kiffin's career. What an interesting career.
There is a doc. There is. It's 30 for 30. It's all, there is, like literally.
Wait, but I want it for the whole thing. I want it when it's all done.
Oh.
How recently did it come out?
In the last year.
Oh, okay. Interested.
Yeah. Last year.
Covers some of the other stuff.
It goes all the way back to the Tennessee days. And,
I wanted to. In the NFL and all that stuff. He's had a really interesting career arc. Possibly interesting career arc. Look, but my problem, Drew, is what you mentioned about them is they have faced 2 difficult opponents on their schedule. Everyone else, for the most part, was kind of a cupcake. Or, like Kansas or whatever, they played well. They have had back-to-back what we would call real SEC opponents.
Yep.
Auburn on the road, Alabama. It's their 2 worst games. It's the 2 worst games they've played. And they almost beat Alabama.
Particularly for the offense.
Yeah. And they almost beat Alabama, and they did beat Auburn. So, they're not playing good football, and they're certainly not getting dog-walked in these games. They are competitive. But they're going to play a lot better at Vandy.
I was going to say, I think
to win.
I think
they're going to play a lot better if they want to have any chance of beating A&M or Oklahoma.
To your point of what you just said, like a couple minutes ago, this game feels like it's just massive. Like obviously, the A&M game is big. The Oklahoma game is going to be big, depending on how things go. But this game, and I know it's a week-to-week thing, obviously for the team and stuff. But this one,
they're going to be better than 50% to make
game
the playoff.
Days in Nashville. They're going to have to play as good of a game as they've had all season long to win it. And if they do win, then you're looking up and say, well, we can still afford a loss potentially and then still get to that 10-2 mark. So, this one is absolutely massive against Diego Pavia, who all of a sudden is probably top 3 in the Heisman.
He's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's jumped up considerably.
His story is
I don't know if he's
awesome,
top
man.
3. He moved up to like 7 or 8 to 1. I think he's right. He's fringe.
I don't know about the odds. I'm just saying, if I had to vote, Diego Pavia is 100% hitting. Diego Pavia is in New York, and he's not the last guy sneaking in. I think the way he's played. Plus, for him to also say and talk all the smack that he has and sound crazy to everybody, for him to back it up is actually really, really darn impressive. He's one of the best stories in all of college football this year.
By the way, Heisman odds: Ty Simpson plus 320, Fernando Mendoza plus 340, Cyan 400.
What a great race!
Julian Sayin is going after it.
Marcel
man.
Reid
so
7.5 to 1, and then Diego Pavia sitting at 8 to 1. All right, up next, let's get right back into the Chiefs. Rasheed Rice made his return, 2 touchdowns, what it meant for the rest of the offense. You want to hear what Travis Kelce had to say, along with Rasheed Rice himself, right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and you could start a new career in cybersecurity over at Centric. Look, those threats are increasing every year, and that means there's a great demand for people in that industry. Centric wants to help you get there.
You talk about data breaches all the time, identity theft, staying safe online is more important than ever. That's why Centric, they offer hands-on training to prepare you for a career that protects people and businesses from cybercrime. And we've told you all the time for the last couple years about Centric, that the program, if you're in a career right now and you're like, I don't have 2 years to be in a program and figure this thing out, 4 months. In as little as 4 months, you can find that new career.
You say you don't want to work in sub-zero temperatures again this winter. Those things are all possible. Talk to our buddy Russ. Get started over at Centric.com.
Kansas City, it's time to turn up the heat. The Westport Sunfresh is back and better than ever. Now proudly part of the Cosentino Food Stores family. We're celebrating with a re-grand opening you won't want to miss. That means 3 full weeks of hot savings on the freshest produce, premium meats, and all your grocery favorites. Come experience the new and improved Westport Sunfresh, your neighborhood store, now with even more local love. Located in the heart of Westport, only at Cosentino's Westport Sunfresh.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Honeywell and Aprilaire, and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. This Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You'll be able to build parlays, bet player props, or even ride the live line. Whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player will score the next touchdown or the touchdown after that. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back. On December 1st, you'll be able to see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, there's a ton of ways for you to get in on the action. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Schedule your home improvement project while the weather is still nice with Powell Exteriors KC. They offer easy financing, pay no interest until 2027, a 10-year workmanship warranty, and their extended summer sale. PowellExteriorsKC.com. The power of KC is Powell Exteriors KC.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASC certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Hey, it's Rasheed Rice. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
First down, goal to go for the Chiefs. No score. A little over 6 minutes to go first quarter. Kareem Hunt, the running back. The Chiefs come on a flip pass to Rice. Near side. Touchdown! Kansas City! As Rasheed Rice gets the flip pass and gives it a drop kick punt into the stands.
He did punt that thing. That was like Marcus Peters-esque right there.
Did he not want the ball back? It's the first time he's been in the end zone in a while.
A lot of emotion there, A lot of emotion. He said he won't be punting the football probably any other time, but it was a pretty impressive punt. Rasheed Rice's return, much awaited return to the Chiefs lineup, and he ends up with a 7-catch, 42-yard, 2-touchdown performance
on 10 targets.
On 10 targets, and because of the game script and the way it was going, he obviously could have played more if they needed him to play more. But they were checking in on him. He said even during the game a little bit. Andy Reid was asking like how he was feeling, just to see kind of stamina-wise where things were at. But what we saw yesterday was a glimpse in why the conversation about could he be a top 15 receiver? Could he eventually be a top 10 receiver? Why can that happen? Because you said it, on 14 routes run, he had 7 catches and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and look, we're not doing pacing stats for single players because that would be crazy. But we know that 6 catches a game is the kind of guy that Travis Kelce's been a lot of these. 6, 7, 8 catches a game is 100, 120, 130, depending on if you get 6, 7, or 8 catches a game. He was by far, even in the limited time they were on the field, the most targeted guy. Everyone else really shared the workload, shared a number of targets, shared a number of catches. Rasheed Rice and Rasheed was getting more than just about anybody else on either side of the football across the board. I thought it was very encouraging for the thing I told you, which is I just needed to see it play out in a longer period of time just to make sure I knew where to place Rice. I knew he was one of the 30 best, probably wide receivers in the NFL. Hell, probably even the 20 best. I think I knew in my gut that that's where he belonged. But having only had a rookie season and 3 full games from the previous season to go off of, I wanted to see what it was going to look like in an offense in which there are plenty of other people they can throw the ball to, plenty of other weapons available to him. He's a great red zone target. He got 10 targets, 7 catches. He only ran 14 routes, which means they threw to him like 80% of the time. He was going out for a route, and he was open. A good chunk of those. And so, yeah, it's hard for me to assume that he's not going to have some pretty big numbers the rest of the way. Pretty easy to assume at this point.
It looked a lot like the first couple weeks last year when he was on the field before the injury to the Chargers in the Chargers game. In that case, that was still Xavier Worthy as a rookie, and so it was really just Rasheed Rice. Now we all know they've got multiple weapons out there on offense, and you feel very, very good about the situation. But you saw, yards after the catch when you get the football in his hands. He is like a running back with the ball. And that's the beautiful thing with his game is that if it's a 5-yard slant, he's one of, 2 guys on the, now I would say before we would have said 1 guy, but now they probably would say 2 other players on the team that can take a 5-yard catch and you feel like add another 25 yards to it.
This includes a game in which he, scored 0 points because obviously he was injured. I mean, if you start going through his career numbers, he's only played in 21 career games, which is a very low number. One of which he was injured in the 4th quarter and didn't complete the game. He's played 21 career games, got 1,268 yards and 11 touchdowns. You're like, well, that's not super impressive. But once you start going through what counted in one regular season versus another, you can see the jump. The jump from those career games to what he did in the rest of it stands out. 7 for 103, 5 for 75, 12 for 110, and 7 for 42. 2 times he got in the end zone. He is consistently performing for this team. More, also important, not that I thought that this was the case, he looked healthy. And I assumed he was healthy. Plenty of time to recover from the injury. No reason why he wouldn't be healthy. But he hadn't been on a football field in a competitive tackle football game since, other than a preseason game, which barely counts, in a while. So it was nice to see him move like old Rasheed Rice in a way that made it seem and look comfortable. That was important.
This was Xavier Worthy who was speaking to those of us in the locker room, and then you'll hear at the beginning, Rasheed Rice, of course, they share a locker, or at least lockers right next to each other, and you could tell they were obviously happy about having both of them together on the field.
I mean, shoot, my dog, man. You see, he came out here 2 tugs, made it easy for us, so it's good having him back.
Talk about the shirts you guys had on today.
Folks tell them what the shirts was, bro. I don't know, man. This was just kind of our first time, you know what I'm saying?
That looks good. He punted that thing pretty far, too, after the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, that was just normal. That's training camp, so we just bringing what we do from practice to the field.
Very good. Did you feel some more ease in the offense and like you're more open with the addition of Rasheed back?
Oh, yeah, it's always easier just having everybody. All the threats we have on the field, we got Trav, we got guys like Rasheed coming back, we got Hollywood, Taquan, that big catch on the field, so it just makes it easy for guys to get plays and get open.
Did this feel like a pretty good depiction of what this offense can do now, with this firepower, everybody's kind of healthy?
I mean, yeah, y'all just now seeing it. We've seen this all offseason, so it's kind of like something that we were just waiting on and waiting for it to happen.
And that part right there, last training camp, we saw the explosiveness.
We did?
Never saw it in the regular season.
No, because Hollywood got hurt so fast, and then obviously
and
Rice
so now we're starting to see it happen. This was the plan for really 2 off seasons.
The only question I have is it relates to the way they looked against the Raiders versus how they'll handle this against other teams. And this is something that's going to be really, really tough for other teams to diagnose. It felt like in that game, they were just like forcing it, not in a bad way, but forcing it to Rice. Right? They're down on the 2-yard line, Gold, and they're doing the pop passes. Oh, here comes Rasheed Rice in motion. Little flip, get him in the end zone. Like they're making a point of getting it to Rice in the flat, getting him involved, making sure he touched the ball, which we thought they do going into the game. Do we think his usage will look like that every week? Or were they just trying to get his feet wet? Get him in the game, make sure he knew what he was doing, get him confident and comfortable again.
I expect this kind of target share going forward.
I kind of do too, but I do think that it's a real question and something we'll keep an eye out on, is because they do have so many people to throw the ball to. This is, again, going back to what we talked about the offense, which we'll talk about again later on in the show, just the offense as a whole. Everything looks so easy right now. Looks easy for Rice, looks easy for Worthy. Everyone is loose and comfortable. And again, they just beat the hell
that helps.
out of the Raiders.
That also, I mean, you're going to.
So I'm sure they were in a pretty good mood.
Yeah, this was Rasheed Rice from the podium having some thoughts on being back on the field with everybody.
Truthfully speaking, the passing game is working because we got so many weapons. We have players all over the field that can, go deep. Honestly, everybody on the field can do everything. So we got different positions where we put me at running back at wide receiver, and we just switching it all around. And we got hype like that, man. We all family. We playing for each other right now.
I think that was in the hall. I don't think that was actually from the podium.
Yeah.
But as far as Rasheed Rice, he was pretty, I think, relaxed once they were able to get that first snap or 2 out of the game, and you could tell the excitement that they believe that this is also just kind of the beginning of where the offense is heading. That's the scary thing, I think, if you're everybody else in the NFL.
Somebody was saying, hey, look at his splits. This is pretty much how they use them. I'm not even disagreeing. But so last year, this is what's so interesting about offensive dynamics and how defenses have to structure it. That's not how they used him the entirety of his rookie year. Towards the end, his usage got closer to that. Last year, his usage was like that, but there was no one to throw to, right? Very limited options. So, of course, his usage was way up. They didn't have a lot of other options in the passing game. Worthy was a rookie. They weren't going to use him that way. Kelsey was slower, and, it wasn't going to get that kind of usage. And so, and they were without Hollywood Brown. They didn't have all the pieces in place. This year, they have everyone. This will make them very difficult, and Rasheed Rice very difficult to guard. He will sometimes get one-on-one coverage. He will sometimes get an absolute monster target share as a result of it. But I think there's going to be some of these once every 3 games where, even in that game, right, the leading yardage receiver wasn't Rasheed Rice. It was Travis Kelce, of all people. And a huge chunk of that came on one catch. The leading yardage guy was Travis Kelce. This year, this is what I'll be interested to find out. This year, the leading yardage receiver leader has been several different guys. Kelce 3 times. It's been Worthy. It's bounced around a little bit. So, how many times the rest of the way do you think Rasheed Rice will lead this team in receiving yardage? I don't know. Probably 4.
He'll to me be the leader of that the rest of the way.
Yes. I just meant per game.
But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of hopefully what they have offensively if these guys stay healthy is you're going to have to truly pick who you're going to try to at least attempt to slow down if you're an opponent. If you're the Commanders coming up now on Monday night, are you going to key in more on Rasheed Rice? Well, then
I would.
That's what allows the 40-plus yard wide open play to Travis Kelce, or what was it, 20 yards, I think, to Noah Gray at one point in the game as well. I mean, there's just going to be opportunity for somebody else if you think you're going to be able to shut down one particular player. Good luck with that anyway. The creativity on offense will likely get the ball in the hands of Rasheed Rice one way or the other, just because they're going to do different things. Sometimes it's going to be a touch pass. Sometimes it's going to be end around, whatever it may be. If they want it, they know they want to get the football in the hands of Rasheed Rice. So they will be creative in that way. But if an opponent is doing a really nice job there, then that's probably a game in which Travis Kelce or Hollywood Brown has their biggest performance. One thing that I want to watch moving forward, I think will be fun, is because of the way the score went yesterday and it got out of hand, we didn't see Rice, Brown, Worthy on the field as much as we've all talked about, how exciting it's going to be. They didn't even do that until the second quarter.
Nope, didn't have to.
They didn't need to, yeah. So
they
what
came
happens?
out in 12 personnel. They came out in 2 wide.
Yes.
And a couple of tight ends, and then took the ball all the way down the field goal and just threw it to the tight ends. Kelce had a huge play. Noah Gray had the second biggest play on the drive.
Yep.
And so some of that is just confusing teams. Look, I don't think Rasheed Rice is going to put up monster numbers in the sense that I think he's going to put up 120 or 100, 80 yards a game the rest of the way. But he's obviously going to be their leading wide receiver. He's their number one target, which is crazy for an offense that was already clicking. Well, we pointed out going into this game, because they were already moving the ball with efficiency, finding guys, not having any trouble punting, just functionally very good offense, and then added back after this game what we know, what we thought we knew, and now we know after one game. Rasheed Rice is their number one target. They got their number one target in the offense back after they were already starting to score in the season.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 5 minutes or so. Now, late in the game, it was very evident they were just going to keep feeding Brashard Smith because Gardner Minshew was in the game, and they were just set on running the football and running clock, and it was so out of hand. But before that, I had even put in the rundown before that point in time, I felt like we were already starting to see an uptick in snaps for Brashard Smith.
It looks like an equal share guy. Don't look at the end game
the
stats,
final stat line is not what I'm talking about because, they ran the ball, 15 times in the fourth quarter, and they were all to Brashard Smith.
They did not let.
Yeah.
They did not let Gardner Minshew throw a pass.
But, the final stats, 14 carries, 39 yards, and then, the receiving numbers, that's what I want to talk about more. That's, to me, what matters. 5 for 42. Which
took place when Minshew wasn't in the game.
Correct, when they were still, quote-unquote, trying to score points after not laying off the gas. That, to me, was the uptick I was talking about. Not the rushes, because that was garbage. But they got him on the field more in passing downs and gave him the football more often. I like this gradual increase. He, to me, is explosiveness-wise their best back, and it's not close. Now, carrying the ball, they don't. I don't think they fully trust him yet. You and I were talking. In pass protection, I don't think they trust him yet either fully to stick in there on a third down and protect.
Do you know how many pass protection snaps he's had this year?
Doesn't feel like many.
0.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, they don't trust him yet.
So if he's in the game, he either is chipping, or he is. But either way, he's going out.
He had the big 17-yard. I think it was off of a screen. They ran a screen to him. 17 yards, a key first down. At the time, it felt like it was important because you didn't know the rest of the game, the way it was going to go. So I like the continued role for Brashard Smith. I just hope they add to this. And by week 12, we're saying, he's going to be the story of that extra weapon. They got plenty of weapons on offense, but will he end up being the guy as the season goes on? We say, okay, he's now kind of the guy that nationally X factor nobody's really talking about, but he's somebody that ends up giving him a whole nother element out of the backfield.
It's interesting because Diana Rossini said that they're not currently shopping for running backs, which you and I thought probably shifted once they were getting some more production out of those players and found a way of doing it three-headed. I'm going to have to wait because part of his catches also came when Kareem Hunt was out of the game for a brief period of time. And so, it was a weird game to diagnose the running back situation because I have to eliminate all the carries pretty much altogether. They didn't matter. They were all garbage time, Gardner Minshew. They weren't actually giving them to him. The passes were mostly during the heat or the bulk of the game, but there were a few snaps that he got extra because Kareem Hunt was out of the game after it looked like maybe he had injured his leg there. Or his ankle.
They just taped his ankle up.
Yeah, they did for a short period of time in the game. So it's difficult to diagnose. I hope you're right. And what's happening now is they're getting ready to use him more. They have settled in pretty comfortably to a split, though. Isaiah Pacheco's going to get the most. Kareem Hunt's going to get the second most. And Brashard Smith is going to be we want a back who can catch the football and to give you some looks in which we might throw this to the back to either get you off of these guys deeper into coverage or to actually just use the back, run screen games. He's their most explosive back by far. By far. It's also why I'd love to see some actual carries in games or game times that matter. Is there some reason why he can't get a carry in the second quarter against a base look defense?
And they've been using him in the slot more than they have. He's been lining up a wide receiver more than he has running back.
And that's why the catches are increasing. We all know he was a wide receiver in college before he became a running back. So that's the skill set they're going to utilize. I don't know if that's a long-term thing, if that's still just trying to get him more comfortable in some other situations. But right now where he's most effective is as a receiving back. I just think, though, when he touches the ball,
he's fine.
You feel like there's a chance of something. I'm not saying on a 3rd and 1 they should be running halfback dives with Brashard Smith. That's not what any of us are suggesting. In fact, Kareem Hunt's done a really nice job in short yardage again. But he, to me, should still be more involved. And I think that's where the buildup of the offense and what's the full offense look like. That's something we don't see until December. And maybe that includes more Brashard Smith and some special packages. But right now, it also is tricky. I mean, Tyquan Thornton's barely getting on the field, too. I mean, they're in a spot, oddly enough, they have so many healthy receivers and options currently.
Brashard Smith, wide receiver snaps are keeping Tyquan off.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's only so many snaps to go around.
Which means that'll tell you how much they like him. They have this many wide receivers, and they're still giving him wide receiver snaps because they want you. So what happens is, like, a lot of times they just, as you guys see, they motion him out. They want you to have to pretend like they're going to run the ball and then put you in a mismatch situation by flexing him out, by moving him around, by sending him out in coverage, so that you have to send more linebackers out into coverage, less guys coming at the quarterback, more time for Mahomes, and the balance right now is really good. Mahomes, you look, Andy, Nagy, Holmes, they're all in their bag right now. Everything's really functioning borderline perfectly as an offense, so I'm not surprised.
Coming up at noon, don't forget the only place you can hear from Andy Reid is right here on Cody and Gold. A lot of people on the text line asking about updates on Omar Norman-Lott or Josh Simmons. He'll be asked about it. I don't know if we'll really get much. You guys know on Monday sometimes we'll get the guys aren't in yet.
I just got in.
We'll see. It clearly did not look great for Omar Norman-Lott. I don't think anybody has to be a doctor to look at that and say, oh no, that looks like that could be one of those
Mahomes helping him off,
season-long type things. I hope not, but that's what that looked like. Josh Simmons, yeah, we're all in the same boat on that one. I have no clue. No clue. All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
We go to Florida for this one. I think it was last week Drew was bringing up the McDonald's Monopoly back, right? Have you gone there?
We talked about
you got any more pieces, Drew? Are you still just waiting for Boardwalk? Still waiting like everybody else?
Get your big prize?
Oh, yeah, I'm still waiting.
Still waiting on Boardwalk. So am I. Yep.
I haven't been to McDonald's since
two people have already won the Winnebago or whatever RV. I already saw 2 people won that.
What the hell would I do with that?
Sell it.
Can I take the cash equivalent?
Yeah,
because I don't want an RV.
Well, because you're going to have to pay the property tax and the taxes on it anyway, so just sell it.
Yeah. Not looking to own an RV, personally.
Yeah, same. If I won that, I would be selling it. Anyway.
It'd be kind of funny, though, if you just owned an RV. Just you. Alex takes road trips now by himself in a huge RV.
That'd be, nope.
It'd be fun to take your friends on a trip once.
Oh, for
do you want to take it
one
once?
time. Yeah, just one time.
One trip.
But then the value goes down drastically. I got to keep that thing brand new.
Yeah,
anyway.
got to keep it mint.
I bring this up because at a McDonald's in Florida, 3 people were arrested. Now, it didn't have anything to do specifically with Monopoly, but basically they got busy. And people didn't like that. That's the nice way to sum it up. So this happened on October 12th, so about a week or so ago, in Davenport, Florida. Drew, I don't know if you've been to Davenport. You're our Florida guy. I don't know where that's at in Florida necessarily.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Big state.
All right. Fair enough. Anyway, they got in an argument. The incident started at 3 a.m., so it's always a good time for things not to happen. 3 a.m. when the restaurant was slammed with orders. 2 men, age 18 and 19, were told by drive-thru employees or an employee that they were too busy to take more orders. Now, I will admit, what do you mean you're too busy to take more orders? It's McDonald's.
I've been turned down from fast food places before.
Too busy? What?
Dude, sometimes they just get behind. One time I was trying to pick up like a Chipotle order, and the person just looked at me and said, "This ain't gonna happen."
Okay, so
this is not. Like, somebody didn't turn the printer off. They took too many online orders. They're like, this ain't
so I'm not excusing what I'm about to say happened.
Okay.
But I must say, if I go through the drive-thru McDonald's, and look, if I have to wait a half hour, I have to wait. But there's no, hey, we're not serving you today. We're too busy. That doesn't exist.
But if they say half hour, you're probably going anyway.
Sure, but
I'm not waiting
this idea. So I would also be confused if I was in a drive-thru at a fast food place and they said, hey, man, we're not serving you. We're too busy. I'd be like, what? Anyway, all right, so the pair became angry. They threatened the employee, don't do that, and they said, we're going to wait for you in the parking lot. They walked in. Well, then they got serious. All jokes aside now. They walked into the lobby, continued the argument. The manager heard them reference firearms, mentioning a .30 clip. The employee went to the break room. He grabbed a weapon from his backpack. A struggle broke out. A gun got discharged. Somebody got struck in the neck. Non-life-threatening injury. The employee fled the scene, taking his gun and shell casing. He was later charged with tampering with evidence. And so the two customers were charged with disorderly conduct, but it was the employee that actually fought and discharged his weapon towards the customers.
I got to say, though, if they're talking guns, look at this. You're going to get yourself shot over a McDouble? Is it worth it? Guy said he can't serve you. Just go somewhere else.
Right.
I'm sorry it's 3 a.m. and you're drunk off your ass. You're getting yourself shot for a 6-piece. This can't be worth it. Wow. There's no fast food. There's no food on the planet we're taking a bullet for. I'll tell you that. Not worth it, dude. This is like
Davenport is in between Orlando and Lakeland.
Sounds terrible.
Okay. Is it a good area or not?
It looks like it's kind of out.
Looks like it's not by the ocean.
Yeah,
so
no.
what's the point?
I mean, it's south of Orlando.
He said, what's the point of living in Florida?
It's inland.
There's no beach nearby.
There's a lot of beach in Florida.
True.
The hell am I living inland for?
Because, I don't know, it's nice.
What's nicer about it than any other inland place, I guess? You know?
I mean, it's Florida. Like I mean, you're not too far from Disney World in this case for being in Davenport. You're a quick drive from Disney World, Orlando.
Davenport, Florida, significantly lower overall crime rate compared to the national average. So it's not supposed to be a dangerous area.
Davenport.
Somebody wanted their McChicken badly. And then again, it was the employee that actually continued to escalate it.
If that guy took it to that point, this is not the first time he's unfortunately been threatened in the middle of the night by some jerk coming through the drive-thru line. He's like, that's it. Next time somebody tries to come step to me in the middle of this McDonald's parking lot, I'm not taking this anymore. They said, I'll see you out of your car.
Yeah.
You can't be saying that to people and expecting not an escalation.
Nope. No, you can't.
If somebody said that to you on the text line and they meant it, not whoever's going to text that in now, and they meant it, well, then I got to take that seriously.
McDonald's at 3 a.m. or Taco Bell?
Taco Bell.
It feels more like a Taco Bell.
If you had to rank the food you would most likely take a bullet for, what is it? You know,
no fast food.
What's
no
the
fast
most
food.
transformational piece of fast food you've ever had?
There's no fast food. No food, period. Yeah, definitely no fast food. That's for sure. Okay. There you go. That's the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red half hour and defensive line help. How badly do the Chiefs need that, even after a 31-0 win? We'll get into that and the most complete win of the season. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets. From yards to touchdowns to who will win, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Tonight, FanDuel's giving all customers a 30% profit boost tokens. That's right. You can get in on the action with a 30% PBT this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to bet on the game. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Fast cars, barbecue, and live music. Bring the family for Burnouts, a car show, Kids Zone, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. It's Boost and Barbecue next Friday, October 24th and Saturday, October 25th at Flying H Drag Strip, Odessa. Kids 12 and under are free. Online at boostandbbq.com.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone. Lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
The last couple weeks, I've been driving the all-new 2025 Ford Expedition thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford. You guys know I love the F-150, but I dropped that off a couple weeks ago. The good news is this Expedition is fully loaded. It honestly is one of, if not the nicest vehicles I've driven. And if you've been watching some of my social media channels, you know one of the cool features in the completely redesigned Ford Expedition is the all-new multi-function Ford splitgate. So think about your ability if you're trying to either haul some cargo. Maybe you want a tailgate. You can actually sit on the tailgate. You can prop up a picnic table. I showed that in the video as well. It's a very nice feature for family, especially if you were just out at Arrowhead this past weekend. If saw some people out there tailgating. Think about the ability also to plug in your TV, to plug in your smoker right there in the back of the vehicle. It has that power inverter as well. One of the many features that I like in the Expedition, and it's all over at Shawnee Mission Ford. If you're thinking about that new vehicle, maybe you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle. You're in luck with over 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from at prices in terms well within any budget. And after the sale, Shawnee Mission Ford is going to be there with their mobile service. They came out to our station a month or two ago, and they will actually change your oil from your workplace. Maybe you're home. Maybe you got people around the office. You can all decide to do it on the same day. This is the service you're going to get from the starting purchase time all the way through the life of the vehicle as well. Ready, set, Ford. That's what Shawnee Mission Ford is all about. Bringing meaning to Ready, Set, Ford. Shawnee Mission Ford's on a mission to do more.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. Are we officially done with anything Pro Football Focus related as it relates to quarterback?
Yeah.
I saw his grade for the week. It was 64.3. He on the season going into the week was below Spencer Rattler in the Pro Football Focus rankings.
Yeah.
So, like, for quarterback, at least for Mahomes at quarterback, we have to be done, right? Whatever their system is doesn't include the way that man plays football.
We've had this conversation for a couple years.
Yeah.
And I thought we agreed that unless it's offensive linemen, we don't really bring them up. And I know some people might take that as, well, so you just don't like the grade, so you're just going to say it sucks. No, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm saying for offensive linemen, defensive linemen, I value it more. I don't think any casual person is watching a football game and watching the offensive line, so I value what they have to say about how certain offensive linemen performed. I don't think anybody is watching yesterday and breaking down Kingsley's game. Like, the eye test only works so well for an offensive line unless you're a former
like Mitchell
player.
Schwartz telling me
unless
how
you're
they
Mitchell
do it.
Schwartz, where he's watching offensive linemen or whatever, okay? For quarterbacks, I do think there is a little bit of the eye test. You, for the most part, can tell, did a quarterback have a good day or did they suck? And I'll tell you this, when I watched 10 games of Spencer Rattler compared to the 6 games or whatever this year of 7 games of Patrick Mahomes, I don't need grades to tell me who the better quarterback is. I don't. And then there's PFF is very defensive now about it too. So someone that doesn't even work for them anymore but used to work there, Steve Palazzolo, who we've had on the show. We've had on the show before. They got a lot of heat from Mahomes having a poor grade last week. So this week, Mahomes was awesome, but he had the one throw that should have been intercepted. We all agree.
They might count as interceptable because the other one across.
One for sure.
One was in the guy's hand.
They caught a break, not a good throw. Okay, fine. And his response was, does this play mean that you guys won't complain about the PFF grade this week? And my first thought was, one, you're just trying to troll, but also you're saying this is the issue we have with PFF. That one play you're saying should overtake all the 95% of the great ones that he had yesterday,
in which
and
the
that's
offense was
where
perfect.
the PFF stuff is stupid.
I guess this is what it really comes down to. They're telling you a 60 grade, in their opinion, is what an average weekly grade would be.
It wasn't average yesterday.
For any NFL quarterback, he was at like 64. They essentially scale theirs out as 90 to 100 as being the best of the NFL or around there. 85 to 90 being in their starters, essentially range between 70 and 84. They're saying that was a below starter grade?
Yeah, that's the problem with
Come on.
That's the problem with their system.
What I ask of them is not that your system be perfect or that it not have some subjective nature to it or anything else to it. What I ask of you is that if your system regularly has the best quarterback of his generation and the best quarterback in the NFL by everyone's standard, as regularly the 9th to 15th best quarterback in the league, fix it.
Yeah. No, look, last year, if you wanted some of the grading on that, last year, they were not a good offense. And there were moments where Mahomes did not play well. Last year, okay,
I would expect his Pro Football
Focus.
Focus,
But this year, specifically weeks 4 through 7 now, if you are grading him out as consistently the 15th or 9th best, in some cases, quarterback, then it's broken. Yeah. Sorry, it's broken. And yeah, teams do value PFF, that teams pay for the PFF grades. Like, nobody's saying that it's completely invaluable. As I said, I think for offensive line and defensive line, it's something that I put a lot of stock in. And teams put a lot of stock in, clearly, because they're paying PFF to subscribe to their service. If it was completely useless, teams would not be paying for it. But the quarterback part is where it's a disaster. And Spencer Rattler has been way better than people want to give him credit for. He looks like a legitimate starting quarterback. It's not even about Spencer Rattler. But I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes should not be getting worse grades the last 4 weeks in particular than Spencer Rattler. That's insane.
Here's what I have to take issue with. So last week, there was a pass. And people brought this up, and they look it up, because they chart every play.
Turnover-worthy plays.
There was a And Mahomes will have a couple of them this week, according to Pro Football Focus. Otherwise, his passing grade would be higher. They probably called it maybe 3 turnover-worthy throws. There was a pass last week where Josh Allen, under pressure, threw a ball over the middle to a guy who dove and undercut it. Not like it went off Travis Kelce's hands and got intercepted, in which case I would argue that is not an interceptable pass. Travis Kelce made it interceptable. But a guy went underneath the route as Josh Allen went under pressure and intercepted the ball. They deem that not an interceptable pass.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And you're like, he picked it. What do you mean it's not interceptable? He actively intercepted
Remember,
it.
this is not some it's not solely some
That's
algorithm
people,
best thing. There's somebody that's assigned to a particular game to watch the Chiefs and the Raiders. And that individual, whoever it is, watched the game, and they graded Mahomes as a below-average starter yesterday. Just that's the part that's laughable, and we've already talked about it too much.
Yeah,
I thought we had a deal.
Just reconfirming.
I thought we had a deal that we were done
just
complaining about it because we all agree that it's kind of a joke when it comes to grading quarterbacks. That's all.
I don't know how you watch Patrick Mahomes' game. Like, if you're the grader and you turn that one in, you know what? I'd lie. I'd change my score. Like, if I were the person who individually graded that, I'm not turning that score in. Are you insane?
But unless, again, we're talking about it.
Score in.
Yeah, we're done with it. But as I say, we're talking about a human doing the grading, so there's always bias that's built in. That's all.
You must be a Raiders fan.
But anyway.
Could have done better.
Let's talk about the defensive line. So it's weird saying this because a Chiefs defense that didn't give up a single point, and it was truly historically great performance by the Kansas City Chiefs and what they were able to do to Geno Smith. 30 first downs to 3 first downs, 31 points to 3 first downs, 96 yards allowed, all these trends and stats out of the game. Dominant.
Yes.
The Omar Norman Lott injury, we do not know yet. And again, we'll hear from Andy in about 20 minutes. It sure looks like a devastating type of knee injury from just anybody that watched the game, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't need someone doing a grade to tell me that.
We'll see if Andy has anything to say about it. He's supposed to get an MRI today, according to the reports last night.
Don't feel great about it. We already know they're struggling in the interior defensive line to begin with. This feels like the spot that in 2.5 weeks, right? Is that about right? 2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
The trade deadline, that's an area, can you get some extra defensive line help, especially if you're going to lose Norman Lott?
I think it's only... Look, and this is not because they only got 1 sack in the game yesterday. What the hell do I care? They only got 1 sack. They let up less than 100 yards. I don't care if you get 0 sacks. I don't care if you somehow give sacks back. Mm-hmm. If you give up less than 100 yards, I'm not going to nitpick the number of sacks they got as it relates to the defense because the defensive line looked okay yesterday. The issue is that you were already kind of thin in the depth department, and you and I had talked about the fact that Omar Norman Lott and Ashton Gelati, I thought, Gold, were part of their plan to get better on the defensive line. As in, historically, if you wait till week 8, 9, 10, 11, they might be more willing to use those guys, get them in the rotation more, take over snaps for guys that we thought were struggling like Nadi, whoever, and that would be a part of the solution. Just get better with rookies. One of those rookies is gone, at least for now. It looked serious, so we'll see what they have to say about it later. But if it's serious, shop now. You are riding high. The team looks good. The trade deadline's in 2 weeks. This is a good time to add another defensive lineman. Get him in early so you actually have a chance to incorporate him into the defense. So the same thing that applied to Omar Norman Lott applies to whoever you trade.
The part we don't know, and I don't have the answer to this, is who's available already? How many teams are willing to trade?
Jalen Phillips is already the rumor.
Dolphins, yeah. The Dolphins, to this point, they claim that they're not willing to trade anybody yet. You have also Stephen Ross, their owner, saying that at this time they're not making a change with Mike McDaniel, at least at this time after a 1-6 start, I think it is, for the Dolphins. They were horrific yesterday, embarrassing.
I mean, there are like 7 or 8 teams that are awful.
Yeah, but as you know how this plays, how many teams are already willing to trade somebody?
I would think
might have to wait another week is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, I'm not putting it on like by Tuesday you better get somebody in-house. Look, hell, even like former Chief Tano Passanio just got cut by the Bears. If you're just looking for a body for a week, I'm not saying it's a permanent solution. If you're just, to be clear, but if you're just looking for a body for a week, fine. There are, I would argue, here are the teams who should already be willing to trade. Dolphins, they're awful. Yep. Jets.
But what player, I guess, is what, you know what I mean? Like
Jalen Phillips on the Dolphins.
Okay.
I'd have to look at the Jets roster. I don't know who's on their defensive line. Titans, Simmons, obviously, and he might be too expensive. Raiders should already be willing to trade. These are the teams that genuinely should be willing to trade. Giants want to wait. That's fine. Get it. Saints want to wait. Probably not. They're 1-6. Maybe get some guys for Spencer Rattler to work on. And then the Cardinals are probably one more week away before they got mail it in.
The defensive line seems like the area that they should try to get some reinforcements before the deadline is up and in the next couple of weeks. We had Nate Taylor in studio with us last week. He'll join us tomorrow, as he always does. And I think he brought up, hey, keep an eye. Have you called Christian Wilkins to see where things are at there? The only thing that's complicated with him is I still think he's unsigned because whatever the heck happened in that Vegas locker room, I have no idea. Remember, that was the whole thing. I have no idea.
And then nobody's ever said anything more about it.
Nobody said more, and nobody signed him. So something's there, and I don't know if that's a league-wide thing right now where everybody's staying away or what. I'm not saying it's necessarily what happened. I don't know. There's a lot of rumors out there. Is that what's preventing anything from happening with anybody in the league? I don't know, but that's a name, talent-wise, that you'd be intrigued by, unless there's something we don't know in the whole story there that is everybody's saying, no, off limits, and I don't know.
That could be the case. He could just be washed. Teams do universally agree sometimes that a player doesn't have it anymore. Now, they're not even bringing the man in for a workout. So I think it's more likely it's the first thing that you mentioned. But again, we can go through it. Maybe later in the week we can bring up some actual names besides the ones that have already been mentioned, like Simmons and Phillips. But there have got to be, even if, and again, I don't think it is going to be a player the caliber of Simmons, okay? I don't think they're swinging for the fences. Although I could argue that this is a great year for it because you have an elite level offense rounded into form. Here we go. Your defense has carried you the last 2 years with a lot of the same talent you have now, with one more pass rusher. And they're already, as of right now, tonight might change it. We can talk about it tomorrow. As of today, they're one of only 3 teams in the NFL with a top 5 points per game offense and a top 10 points per game offense and a top 10 points per game defense. The other 2, by the way, can you guess? It's not the normal teams you would think of necessarily, but it's teams that you would expect based on this season's performance.
That has a top 5 offense and defense right now in
points
football?
per game. Chiefs are 1. There's 2 others.
Colts
are 1.
Yeah.
The other one's playing tonight.
Seattle.
Yeah. Seattle. A team that people is having a much better season than I think some people are discussing because they've quietly been going about their business. They are the other team in the top 10 of both. But when you start looking at it, it's like this is a great year in the sense that you're coming off of 3 straight Super Bowl trips. You appear to have a Super Bowl roster again. If you get great work along the defensive line, I mean, it seems like kind of a sweet year to swing for it. That's all. And you're likely to pick at the end of the first round and all the other normal problems that make it worthy of trading. Now, I would say some of this depends on Simmons and if he comes back to football, because how much do you want to give up picks if you might need to do other things? And I'm not saying we're there yet, but depending on his situation, you might need more offensive line help or other stuff. We don't know.
Yeah, rotational defensive player in the trade market should absolutely be the top target. I know we all longer term agree that they will have to figure some things out in the offseason with the running back position. You got expiring contracts on Pacheco and Hunt, and we've all talked about that already. None of us are completely anti-improving running back, but it feels like asset-wise, maybe I can get by with not trading for a running back.
I got enough weapons that if I got to make do for
the
your
defensive line
back,
might be that area instead where you allocate resources. And in the offseason, you worry about spending a top draft pick on a running back. When I say top draft pick, doesn't necessarily mean first round. Drew and I were texting this weekend, about college running backs, and I was like, I think you mentioned Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, who's obviously awesome, and he's probably going to be a top 15, 20-ish pick. I don't want them spending a first round pick on a running back, but second round, we can have that conversation plenty of time to have that conversation in February, March, April.
Drew, I will say we used to do something on this show where we'd have interventions for people to try to help them with problems that we saw as being an issue. Just generally speaking, trying to help people along their way. I think you need to work on one thing. Can I tell you? Judgment-free zone?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going.
Oh, we didn't talk about this before the show at all. So
no, we didn't.
boy.
This is a football-related thing that I think would help you. And I think Gold will agree with me once I say it. It did not burn you this weekend. You are a little too – you got to be careful, prisoner of the moment. You'll see one Alabama football drive and say, they're back, baby. Mm-hmm. Like they never left. Like you said, like game over against the Jags. You get a little carried away in the first quarter. I'd say you got to tread a little lighter on the early stances of those.
You're saying, did you get do you get nervous at all when I texted you this game that
no.
Everybody's time is being wasted by this Raiders game. It's just all being wasted.
I'm saying you get a quarter into a game or a game into something, and you're immediately ready to declare it good to go.
Oh yeah,
and it's not good to go in some cases. Sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
But it's too risky to constantly be, like we're squared away, everything's solved, nothing to see here. Because I remember you texted us I gave you the Alabama example because they did look very good in that game. You texted us something very similar in Missouri. You said, unbelievable, unstoppable. Look at them on offense. Missouri's rolling. They lost that game. They didn't lose by a lot, but you were very confident about Missouri.
Well, yeah, after one drive against Alabama, they looked really good, and then they had the taunting penalty, and Alabama scored. Otherwise, they potentially could have been up 10-14-0.
I'm saying, wait for a half, quarter, 4 games. You're ready to declare Joe Flacco like that he's going to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game the rest of the way.
In fairness, I believe on Thursday night, the Bengals were down 7-0, and you tweeted, Zach Taylor's punting this game away by going for the punt.
That's
and
true.
then they
He's got receipts. He's got receipts. Cody,
Actually,
you walked in. I'm not getting into this.
Right. I can't even argue.
Oh, man. You came firing bullets, and Drew just had a bullet ready to go in the chamber as well.
He's not wrong.
Woo!
I was definitely way too early on that one. I thought they were getting ready to get run out of the building in that game, and definitely thought that they had done it, that punted way too soon in that game.
I think we all can be better at the prisoner of the moment sort of stuff. I think we all can be a little bit
You're the
better.
ultimate hype man.
Of
You're
course.
usually in the positive on that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm very much in the positive of it. I will say, though, it felt like watching that game yesterday, we were wasting our time. Like, we already knew it was going to happen. It's like, are we? This is so sad. It was sad.
I don't disagree with that. It did feel like we
Pete
were
Carroll
just
didn't
kind of
go for any fourth downs. I was like, man, what are you doing? You're down 14-0 or whatever it was, and you're still punting this thing. You got to go every single time at this rate.
I love when at the end of the game, when Nance was like, well, you got to go for it here. I'm like, no, they don't. It's 30-0. The game's
At that
over.
rate,
They don't have to.
it doesn't matter.
They don't have to go for anything here. They're down 5 scores.
Yeah.
They should have gone for it earlier in the game. They don't have to go for anything now. They can just try to get to the bus.
Yeah.
They don't have to go for any fourth downs. They can just get their ass to the bus. They don't have to go for it now. They did. They didn't. They had 2 opportunities to go for it early and punted. The Raiders, when it was clear the game was going to get
I thought, the first
control.
one.
The first one was especially
the way that the Chiefs offense looked, especially, it's like it's not like you just held them tight and they had a couple. The Chiefs had to go for it on 4. It wasn't any of that. It was they ran up and down the field easily. You had to start going for it at some point. But hey, you know what? I think I don't know which one of you guys mentioned it. I think there was a little bit of Andy. Well, you know what? It's Pete Carroll, and you know what? I'm not going to fully embarrass them. Yeah,
absolutely. He does that all the time. Yeah, he does it all the time, especially someone that has, the track record of Pete Carroll and been around for a while. He's never going to intentionally try to embarrass an opponent.
No.
That's just not his strategy.
In a weird way, I would argue it's more embarrassing. It's like when a coach would make us hit left-handed.
And then I also think some of yesterday, not only was it late in the game where on that 4th down, they could have kicked a chip shot field goal to add 3 points. Doesn't matter. Instead, they ran again on 4th down, and they basically ran the same run play 5 plays in a row. They just flipped it, I think, on the 4th down. The field goal they did not try. Instead, they punted at the Raiders. What was that? 42 or 40?
It'd have been like a 55-yarder.
It was a long field goal.
Yarder.
But if that was a close game, they kicked the field goal. They punted because A, they didn't want to run the score, but also B, I think they're like, you know what? Harrison Butker's had a good day at the office. We do not need to leave him with a miss, possibly going home. We need. He clearly. Dave Tobe said it's a mental thing more than physical thing. Let's have him feel good. And he got through a game where everything was good, and that hopefully carries over to next week. I think that's what that was.
Yeah. I don't think they're, other than Omar Norman-Lott having potentially a season-ending injury, we don't know that yet, but and not looking good. There was, I don't think you can complain about a single solitary thing from that game yesterday.
Nope. I mean, what am I?
It was a perfect game. Yeah, other than like you mentioned the injury, it was a great game. I mean,
Trey Smith leaving the game and Omar Norman.
Yeah,
that's
him too.
The only things that went bad.
Yeah, it was an awesome stress-free game for those that like the noon kickoff. You got that as well. There is something different of the vibe in the parking lot walking in for a noon game. Like not that night. I love a Sunday night game. You know that from in game, but the walk towards the stadium and hanging out in the parking lot. a
Feels
new
like childhood.
kickoff. Yeah,
Because every game was at noon when you were a kid.
That's probably part of it. But I feel like everybody's more likely to tailgate for a noon game than they are for a Sunday night game or certainly a Monday night. Like next week, Monday Night Football. It'll be awesome atmosphere in the stadium, but people are working on Monday. You know, people aren't tailgating. Some people will.
Yes, obviously there's always some.
Majority of people cannot get there at 2:30, okay, and start tailgating. A lot of you will. Props to you. Take half a day or whatever. But, a Sunday noon kickoff is special.
It is.
Up next, we're going to hear from Andy Reid. The only place you can hear from Andy Reid is right here on 96.5 The Fan. We'll see if there's any update on a couple of those injuries. Plus, we'll get back into the historical performance from the Chiefs.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
The NFL season is rolling along, and you're starting to get a better feel on who's a contender and who's a pretender, and you can make all your predictions over at FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who you think is going to win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers 30% profit boost token. That's right. You can get in on the action for 30% profit boost on this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for every snap. So whether you want to bet who's going to win the game, who's going to score a touchdown, or who's going to score the first touchdown, you can do all that with our friends over at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to bet on the game. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/play.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danny, and Kling on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey, we're waiting on Andy Reid. I happen to see one more thing about the Pro Football Focus grades in the break.
No.
No, hold on.
We're done with them. Cody, we're just not smart enough to understand it. That's what it is.
Okay.
Not smart enough to understand it. That's why we just don't get it.
Maybe I don't understand it. I did see one quarterback who happened to have a higher grade than Patrick Mahomes yesterday. Patrick Mahomes, 62.7 passing grade yesterday. You know who had a higher grade than Patrick Mahomes passing yesterday? Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Then we all watched the football game, right?
I thought we were done talking about
Drew, you're a
PFF.
known Chiefs hater. Do you think that Geno Smith played better than Patrick Mahomes yesterday?
First of all, I'm not a Chiefs hater, no, Geno Smith did not play anywhere close to the level of Patrick Mahomes yesterday.
He had a better passer grade yesterday than Mahomes.
10 for 16, 67 yards.
Oh, he was really efficient. 10 of 16.
That'll get you a higher PFF grade than Mahomes. Again, I'm sorry. Like, they can talk like they're the smartest people in the world. We just don't get it. We're idiots. But your system is broken, or your grader that day sucks ass. One of the two things. You decide, or we're just dumb and they're way smarter than all of us. You can't. I'm sorry. Your system doesn't work if it's kicking that back out. Or again, it's not algorithm based necessarily. It's an actual grader that day. That dude doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Also, that 10 for 16 is 62%. That's not that great.
He threw 0. He had
16 total passes. That's all you needed to know.
He had 3 first downs. What are we looking at? Just like the physical way in which he threw a football? Does nothing matter? Yards don't matter? Touchdowns don't matter?
That must be it, because Patrick Mahomes' completion percentage yesterday was 74%. So it's not a completion percentage thing. Yards, he had 200 more. He had more touchdowns, obviously, the same amount of picks. Geno Smith, Cody, yesterday Geno Smith had a QBR of 7.9.
Now we're talking.
Yesterday.
I'm assuming Mahomes was higher than that.
Yes, it was 89.7.
QBR. Okay, see, that more reflects gold.
QBR is what you should look at for quarterbacks, it feels
Someone
like.
says it's analytics, and you guys love analytics in baseball. I'm not the analytic guy. I respect it
I
and
love some
acknowledge
analytics.
and I acknowledge it. But also, again, the PFF has an individual grader going in the game. What was the thought process though on what analytically yesterday was better for Geno Smith than Patrick Mahomes? Again, I'm the idiot. I'm the idiot here. What analytically, smart ass people out there, what was better analytically for Geno Smith than Patrick Mahomes yesterday?
And I think all of us can agree that analytics, sometimes there's just too much of it. And it's not necessary. And I feel like that's kind of where this is.
Offense sucks so bad, he didn't have as many chances to have a turnover-worthy play. That's basically their only response. Well, Patrick Mahomes, you see, he had 2 turnover-worthy plays, but Geno Smith's offense had 3 freaking first downs the entire game. He was better than Mahomes. Okay, that's the logic. Again, then your system is flawed and it sucks.
I'm just telling you right now. You know how like when you used to take like the Scantron test? And Gold, you'd get like 7 answers in a row that were C, and you're like, these aren't C. I gotta change something.
100%.
I gotta change.
100%.
Sure, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's like I gotta change something here. If I had my scorecard for that day, and it had Geno Smith with a higher passing, there's I'll lie and lose my job before I turn that in. I'm just telling you. There's no way I am turning in a piece of paper that says Geno Smith was a better passer today than old Patty Mahomes. No, Stupid. I'll lie.
I'm sorry.
I'll get them wrong before I turn it in.
There's some very smart and also analytics that, you know, and we talk about DVOA and stuff as well on this show, but I'm sorry, like there's times where it just doesn't make any sense. This is also why when we do talk about in baseball, it should not be the end all be all.
No.
This is if you're a managerial decision to pull a guy out of the game and you're saying, well, analytics say this is the right move. And we say sometimes you got to go with feel.
The World Series a couple of years ago, we were talking about
sometimes you got to go with feel. You got to have the right balance. Analytics can be useful. Have the right balance. And I'm sorry, Geno Smith analytically did not play better than Patrick Mahomes or whatever the hell formula. Let's go out to Andy Reid's press conference on Mondays, by the way. They are brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
I don't have really any reports for you on the finalization of the injury stuff. I'll get that later here, so I'll be able to do that, give it to you later. So, or whatever, whenever we normally give it to you. I'm proud of our guys for how they played. They came out all 3 phases, and I thought really did a nice job. Against a team that was getting better each week before we had this chance to play them. So it was, they just come off a nice win and had some momentum going there. And I thought our guys came out and really were able to stay aggressive, both defensively and offensively from the start, and which I thought was important. And then our fans jump in on that, and that's a tough ask for a team to come into. So, and I mean, there are a bunch of individual things that I could address, just from Pat's day to the offensive line's day to Kelsey had a few catches and getting Rasheed back in there I thought was tremendous. The energy that he brings, along with Xavier and the other guys. I mean, it's contagious. And then for a defense to shut out an NFL offense is very rare. Just by the stat that you guys threw out there of I've never been a head coach and had a shutout. That's I've coached a couple of years, and for that to happen, that's obviously got to be a tough thing to do. So, but my hat goes off to Spags and his game plan, their coaches, and the coaches on the defensive side, and then our players just really amping it up. So that's a nice feat for our defense. And then special teams was, you could see Bucker's kicking the ball well, and that's a positive along with Ariza. So, and I thought our coverage teams were good likewise, and return teams. So all in all, it was a good day. As far as Josh goes, I don't have any updates for you. Veach is handling everything there. And so we just, just move on with that. All right. Time's yours.
Let's go ahead and kick things off with Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, wanted to ask you just about, you guys were really effective in short yardage yesterday, and you have been all year. How much of an edge is it to have Kareem in the backfield on those third and fourth and short plays?
Yeah, so all our running backs ran hard yesterday, all three of them. Kareem has got a real knack for that. And he's got great vision, and just he's always been good at that part of it. And so having him back there that's a great thing. Having him on our roster is a great thing because he brings this veteran leadership and confidence to that group, which I appreciate. And he's seen a lot of things and been through a lot of things and does a great job of handling himself.
Go next to Jesse Newell.
Hey, Sid, I'll have a follow-up too. Andy, I'm glad you mentioned Pat's day, and you said you could talk more about it. I just wondered what you did see watching the film and what Pat did.
Yeah, I think you saw him execute all the phases in the offense. So we have different categories there, whether it's play pass movements, whether it's 3-step drop, 5-step drop, concepts, and then all the screen game that goes with that. So we do a variety of screens, and I like the way he handled that. His checks were good at the line of scrimmage. When he had to put a little Hollywood into things, he did good with that, and some of the tricky stuff, So I just thought he handled everything real well.
And then I want to ask you about Rashard Smith. Just what are you seeing with his progression?
Yeah, I think Matt's done a nice job, along with Todd and Mark, of just bringing him along, and he had, I want to say, 14 touches yesterday or so, and did a nice job with that. He's catching the ball well. Excuse me. He's catching the ball well, and I like where he's at now. He's in a good frame of mind, and he's picking things up. So, we just keep coming with him.
We'll go next to Seren Petra.
And Sid, I'll have a couple questions here real quick if I could. Coach, kind of on the Rashard Smith, do you see him, number one, do you want a running back, a number one guy that is kind of the guy that can do everything, or is the game evolved to where, kind of having different guys for different jobs is that kind of thing? And Rashard specifically, is he a guy that you think one day could grow into being the guy?
Yeah, I've always believed you need three guys. I just think, we've normally used all three when we've had them. I've done that for a lot of years now, and so they're all contributing in their own way. I think it's important for Pop to get in there and get going. He is the best when he does that. Kareem understands that, and Kareem gets to pick and kind of choose where he goes in there, or we're able to pick and choose where he goes in there. So, and then Smith gives you a whole different, it's a different deal because he had played the wide receiver position at Miami, so University of Miami, before he got to SMU. So his ability to catch the ball and on screens and those type of things is good, and he's got the protections down now, so he can stand back there and still protect. He's not quite as strong as the other guys. If you had to pick something where he can get better at, he's going to need an offseason to get even stronger than what he is to tote it every play. So, but he'll work on that. He's a pretty diligent kid.
And then just to continue to ski in Jesse's wake here on his Patrick Mahomes question.
Sure.
There's some Chiefs fans' ire has kind of been raised with some of the grades that some of the websites are putting out, and right now, they have Patrick as the 14th best quarterback in the NFL. I know you don't get into that kind of stuff on the side, but Do you see Pat as an average quarterback, or do you see him just to get you on the? I know where you're going to go with this, but I gotta hear you say it to be able to play it. So, do you see him as an average quarterback, or do you see him as significantly better?
It's like you wearing the Notre Dame hat instead of the Syracuse hat.
That's for Grunhard today.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I think he's the best, but I mean, listen, I'm partial, obviously. We ask him to do so much stuff, and then just look at his game. I mean, look at his numbers, and how he contributes, how he gets everybody on the offense involved. I mean, he does that's him doing that, and he's got options on all that stuff. And he he finds a way to get everybody the ball, and then his leadership, I think, is second to none.
We'll go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Andy.
Hey, Nate.
I think we're, obviously yesterday was the first game with Rasheed, Hollywood, and Xavier on the field together. But Hollywood was the first guy that the team acquired first, I should say. Just what about, from your standpoint, whether it's even when Hollywood's not on the field, that has allowed him to be part of cultivating this culture with the rest of the trio, and just what he provides for your team now, seeing him in a full season so far?
Yeah, listen, I love him. He's one of those energy givers. He doesn't say a lot, but he just presents. There's a confidence there that he presents, and makes you feel like I got it. I got everything under control. Dial me up, and that's that's a great thing to have. And when we have, again, we're mixing and matching here, so everybody's getting a chance. And when he gets a chance to with the ball in his area, he's coming down with it. His hands are phenomenal. So he does a nice job of that. And he's not the biggest guy, but he is fearless inside, which you don't see a lot of that in this league. And some of his best work happens in there, and I appreciate that.
We'll go next to Nick Jacobs.
And Cindy, I'll have a follow-up if I can, please. Andy, my first question for you, over the past couple of weeks, we talked about Andy Heck, focusing on the run and doing a good job there, red zone with Veach and Joe Blamar, and guys all having their areas. When you're trying to help these guys develop as offensive coordinators and potential head coaches down the road, how important for you is to give them these tasks to build themselves up to where they have a tool belt down the road if they get that opportunity?
Yeah, Nick, I think it's good for them in a few areas. It's always good to be accountable for something, and it makes your game even better. And so, as a coach and as a player, and so these guys have an area that they work and they dig in on it. And Spags does the same thing on the defensive side as Matt does on the offensive side. So everybody has a piece of the pie here, and they take a lot of pride in that. And the players all know it. They know who kind of does what, and they buy in. And so to be able to stand in front of a crew and to sell your product, man, that's not an easy thing to do, and then get results. And it's a great experience for them going forward, or whatever direction they decide to go.
And then on my second question here, to go from the Lions game, playing that physical brand on a Sunday night, to playing a Sunday noon game and have that focus level and execution, where do you feel like this team kind of maybe set its new floor overall?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I should have addressed that first. Last night I mentioned that you're coming off a hard, you're coming off a emotional game against the Lions, good football team, and you're going against now a rival. And it tells you, first of all, that you better be up every week. You can't have an off week in the NFL, and so that part's a great teaching tool. I'll tell you what, I just got fined for that. That's a great teaching tool. And so, that part of Nick, I just destroyed your question with the phone ringing, but it was a good question. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah. 2 left for you, Coach. We'll go next to Todd Palmer.
Hey, Andy, I was just curious. We saw the Gardner Minshew play at the goal line. I know it got called back, and then Pat acting there and stuff like that. We've seen when you guys are at your best on offense, some of those fun plays, some of those plays where whether it's Matt or players contributing to kind of these oddball plays, which comes first? The success you guys have had the last couple weeks, does that lead to some of those kind of joyful plays, or did the joyful plays help kind of get the guys right and get the guys back in the get the right spirit around get preparation and stuff like that?
Yeah, listen, the guys enjoy those. And so, and if they're sound, that's where I've got the 51% on the thing. So, we practice them, and we feel like by the time we use them, they're part of the offense. And so we normally could pull them off. We had the one fail on us down there, but normally these things work. And that one, had we not botched it up a little bit there with a snap count and that, it would have, probably would have scored. So we gotta tighten that part up. But no, we practice these things and spend time at them. So
We'll go last to Todd Lebo.
Coach, I've heard you talk many times about like emotion on the sideline and stuff like that. And I noticed yesterday when the backups were in, like Travis Kelce was right up there, high-fiving defensive players coming off. When you're in the middle of a game, can you feel, because you've got so many other things going on, if you're getting what you want from the guys on the sideline there, and kind of how do you cultivate that, whether things are going good or bad?
yeah, you can feel that. And so you see it in the preseason all the time, but you can feel it as a coach on the sideline. You feel when your guys are into it or not into it, and it's important if they're a little bit down that the coaches help out with that. But you don't have to do. These guys have good energy. So when I talk about a good rooms or a good energy on a team, those things are said because I feel those things from like what you saw, which is a good observation. But yeah, that's the guys they really support those young guys, which is a unique thing too.
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
All right, so that was Andy Reid's press conference here exclusively on a Monday right here on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others. As we kind of expected, and we all know by now on Mondays, we didn't get the update on Omar Norman Law. We're going to have to wait till
later in the day, probably. Or
later
Tuesday.
Today, or, well, the next media availability
Thursday.
for Andy will be Thursday because they play on Monday. But
that's one that usually comes out a little bit earlier from a national report.
If it ends up being as serious as everybody kind of thinks for Norman Law, that's one of those where you get an update from a national or Nate Taylor or somebody like that as well. As far as the Mahomes thing, we were just talking about the great stuff. I don't want to spend too much more time on it. No. But Andy's never going to be like, I think the grading system sucks. But when you even ask the question, it almost seems so silly because you're just like, do you think he's an average quarterback? Because of course nobody does yet. That's what the grades are saying so far this season.
Yeah, and so that part's always going to sound silly. But the bite, right, of, no, I think he's the best, not Pro Football Focus's 12th rated quarterback. I will say, not that I didn't already assume that. Based on Andy's comment and lack of update on Josh Simmons, I will safely assume he will not be available a week from tonight against the Commanders.
I think that's fair to say.
I think it's a bit dismissive to say move on from it, because I still think it's of note that the Chiefs starting left tackle is AWOL and not in the building in the middle of the season and not for an injury-related issue. So I still think that I hope as time goes on, people will continue to ask those questions. I didn't think they needed to ask today, but ask questions trying to figure out what the timeline for his return is, not the reason why he's absent. And so that part becomes interesting, but it obviously continues to feel more like a long-term absence for him.
Clearly.
Not a short-term absence for him.
But they haven't put him on the NFI list.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's interesting if you think it's going to be long-term.
Because that's a 4-game minimum absence once you put a player on an NFI list. And now he's been listed as NFI. That's not the same thing as being on the NFI list.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking off air, going way back with the Eric Berry stuff. I don't believe he ever was on the NFI list. It was truly a week-to-week thing with no clarity. And remember, there was no non-football injury list there. So
he said he didn't have it in his spirit.
So right now they are fine with Josh Simmons occupying a roster spot. They don't have a roster crunch or anything right now to this point where they feel like there's a need to do that, or it also means that they think he's back sooner. I don't. We are left to on that at least time. Like I'm not going to speculate on what he's gone for. I can speculate on the timeline, and I'm with you where it doesn't feel like the timeline is short at this point in time.
It was such a blowout yesterday. I mean, it's like it'd be a bigger story if Jalen Moore was struggling.
Exactly,
he's
not.
And it'd be a bigger story if the team was losing. They're not, and so those things, and I think for Andy Reid's probably personal preference, kind of get hidden there a little
Still
bit.
is their first-round pick and their starting left tackle. By the way, on Mondays, 30 Hop is our Monday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. $5.99 classic burgers going on all day long over at 30 Hop. 30 Hop, of course, has locations in Lee Summit and now open down the street from us in Merriam's Grand Station. I actually drove right by the Lee Summit location over the weekend. I was out there for a card show, of course, Cody. I was nerding out on some sports cards on Saturday, and I drove right by the 30 Hop there off the highway. They're a proud lunch partner of the show, and 30 Hop truly has something for everyone. You can stop in for lunch, stay for happy hour, 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
Great time to be sitting outside. Can we agree to that?
Oh, by the time we get off the show today, it's going to be gorgeous outside. Yeah.
It'll be lovely.
Yeah. Today was the mix, man. I'm in shorts and a hoodie. I thought about jeans. I'm like, no, it's going to be like 72 still today.
By the time we both walk out to the car, it'll be ditch the hoodie, be in a t-shirt and shorts. I'm in jeans, but like same difference. And then we'll head out and enjoy the rest of the weather. Might as well enjoy it at the patio out at 30 Hop. No, it was look, there's a press conference like that. There's not a lot of negative things to say about what
they just won 31-0. They've won,
held a team to 3 first downs. They're completely whipped on a team for the better part of 60 minutes in which every stat essentially suggests the Chiefs outclassed an opponent in a way very few teams outclass an opponent in any given year in any given matchup. There were other ass kickings in the NFL yesterday. There have been other ass kickings in the NFL this year. That's hard to do worse. Just knowing the yardage, the first downs, the defense, the offense, the special, doesn't matter. I mean, it was one-sided, man. It was one of the most lopsided games I've watched. The most lopsided game in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era.
I love some of the historical stuff that came out of it. I mean, we all know about the first downs, but the fewest first downs allowed in franchise history. Think about some of the dominant defenses in the 90s. Thinking of the 90s, the 96 yards allowed were the fourth fewest, the fewest since Oakland had 93 yards all the way back in 1997. And when you have a game like that, all of a sudden you jump to the number 3 scoring defense in the NFL. Up next, we're going to do a little stock up, stock down. Can be NFL. It can be anything, quite honestly. And we will also get into the offensive expectations the rest of the way. Can this offense keep this trend up of scoring, as in being number 1, number 2 offense in football? That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
For a limited time only, visit any Synergen X or Low T Center for a free hormone consultation and free T-test, and automatically enter for a chance to win autographed sports memorabilia, such as jerseys, balls, helmets, or even win a pair of tickets to a major sporting event in town. The reason to choose Synergen X and Low T Center? Well, that's because you just haven't been feeling yourself. You know this works. The signs of low T. Your workout's not going the same, don't have the energy to play with the kids, don't have that same drive that you're used to having. All of those things can be signs of low testosterone. So get started on how TRT and TRT treatment can change your life and, in cases, save your marriage. If you're looking at these things and you've realized this issue, find an effective way and choose between in-treatment or in-center treatment or at-home treatment. You go in, T-test can be done in as little as 20 minutes. They have all the available testing there for you. Then you can choose to either be treated at home or in the center if that's what you would prefer. It's a chance at a free T test this month and to find out where those T levels are. So don't wait any longer and get back to yourself. Book an appointment today at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
It's football season and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 42424. That's METER to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly.
At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24-monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
Fast cars, barbecue, and live music. Bring the family for Burnouts, a car show, Kids Zone, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. It's Boost and Barbecue next Friday, October 24th and Saturday, October 25th at Flying H Track Strip, Odessa. Kids 12 and under are free. Online at boostandbbq.com. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold on a Victory Monday in Kansas City. Hope everybody's having a great day. We are going to get to the random question of the day here in about 10 minutes or so. Don't forget Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you could always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Let's do a little stock up, stock down. Stock up for me, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have won 4 straight for the first time since 2018. Guess who the head coach was in 2018?
I'm going to guess it was Matt Nagy.
That's exactly right, with Mitchell Trubisky. No, Chicago, now the wins they've had, I think the most impressive one is probably actually against Dallas, maybe the Commanders during that stretch of time. The Saints are mixing there. I'm not acting like they beat the Bills and the Lions in that mix. However, in that division, which is ultra competitive, that has the Lions who play tonight, that saw the Packers squeak by yesterday.
Everybody's 500 or better.
Yeah, it's a really tough division. Chicago, I don't know where, I can't remember what our preseason predictions were. I don't think the Bears are winning the division now, but they're trending towards a playoff team, which is kind of what I thought they could be. Caleb Williams is getting more confident. Ben Johnson's starting to get more of his fingerprints all over that team. They're a flawed football team. I want to see what they do when they do face the Packers again or the Lions, and I don't know when that necessarily is, if it's a week or so away. But stock up absolutely on the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson.
I just, if you look at it, it's not a murderer's row of teams they've beaten, but no doubt their stock is pointing up. I would again point out that Matt Nagy did some similar things, as you had pointed out in Chicago. That doesn't mean this is going to end poorly. Chicago deserves credit for being in the toughest division in football and winning football games. My stock up is maybe a new strategy in the tush push game. Stock up and at least trying some different stuff. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. The Vikings decided in an attempt to stop the tush push, it didn't work, but I at least like the creativity.
It didn't work.
Laying down in front of the offensive line. They just had a player, Gold, lay down on the ground. Next up is, what if we just lay 2 guys on top of each other like a pancake and find out whether or not you're the top bun and you're the bottom bun, and we figure out whether or not someone can stop this play. Look, creativity is needed when you're talking about a play that is borderline indefensible. I like that the Vikings took a try at a new strategy. They tried just laying a player down on the field. Very funny photo if you saw the aerial shot.
The photo's funny,
hilarious to see it.
But it didn't work.
I know, but it was closer. It almost worked.
It didn't work, though. Maybe
it'll work the next time.
If it worked, then we're really talking okay, finally. It didn't work. It was just a goofy play.
But try it again and see if it works the next. Maybe it's got a 50% success rate or something.
Yeah.
Drew, did you like it? Did you like the little Vikings lay down?
I really appreciate the effort to try.
Yeah. Wouldn't work in the other way. Why not?
I really appreciate it. My stock up is the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're a legit Super Bowl contender. I think they're in the mix now. I think they've continued to prove it. Their offense is just on fire. They've scored 29 or more points in every single game besides one. 29. So, they're high flying. They got Jonathan Taylor, of course. Daniel Jones is playing at an all-time level. And then you got the weapons that it seems like you guys talked about earlier, it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 guys. It's gives me Packers vibes in a way, where they've got a lot of really solid players, a lot of really good players. Tight end, maybe the best one, and then the running back, of course, is very good with Jonathan Taylor.
Certainly not their fault.
It feels like I think they're legit. I think they are legit, and we got to take them seriously.
Look, their stock is up.
Their stock is up. They're probably going to win that division the way it's trending. I understand you can point and say who have the Chiefs beat as well, but we all know where they're trending, and frankly, the history and track record I have of Patrick Mahomes. The issue with the Colts is like they've beat one playoff team. One team we think will be in the playoffs right now. And I'm counting, by the way, I'm counting that as
the Rams, Chargers.
But they lost to the Rams.
Yeah, they lost to the Rams.
I'm basically only counting the Broncos. I'm only counting the Broncos. I don't think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs.
Broncos.
I count the Broncos.
1.5.
Okay.
Can we agree to 1.5?
And then they have the Titans, Steelers, who I guess there'd be a second one if they beat them
too.
Chiefs, Texans, Jags, Seahawks, 49ers. So it gets a little bit tougher here in about 5 or 6 weeks. Again, to me, it's just depending on the scale. You said it right there. That's fine. You said a Super Bowl contender. That's where I'm not willing to go yet. I think they're for real in terms of like their offense is not going to fall off a cliff. Daniel Jones is having a great year. Shane Steichen's going to end up being coach of the year. I just still cannot get on board. If you're telling me AFC divisional round happens and the Colts, Chiefs, Bills, and I don't know, Pittsburgh are still alive, that I'm betting on the Colts over anybody but Pittsburgh, over anybody else but Pittsburgh there, right? You know what I mean?
I take the Colts over the Bills in a heartbeat right now. The way the Bills defense looks, Colts might hang 40 on them.
I'm just saying, come playoff time when in the playoffs, I just
when
don't.
Push comes to shove.
A lot of this is based on history, and like there are always outliers. And I'm not saying like because we all Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. So maybe
that
this
defense was all time.
Right. Maybe this is an outlier year. I'm just saying I typically like my chances of betting in favor of what we all consider the top 5 quarterbacks in the league versus Daniel Jones, who might be playing like a top 5 or top 10, but we all know like he's not suddenly a top 5 quarterback forever.
I mean, I'm not talking about the betting side of things because I understand why you wouldn't do that if you're betting, but I think they look like a legit Super Bowl contender. Because let's say they're the 1 seed, they'll get a bye, they'll face, I don't know, whoever beats the Steelers as the 5 seed probably is what it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
And they'll face the Patriots, and that'll be a great game. And if they win that game, then if they make it to an AFC title game, they're technically Super Bowl contenders. Like I feel like it fits. If they're a 1 seed, you have to put them in that group. Anyways.
No, that's fair. I would say someone pointed this out, and we'll see. I don't know what the history is on this, but the Colts getting the 1 seed, obviously they play in a dome, and so. What happens when the Colts here in the next couple months have to start going on the road in cold weather and stuff? What does that do? I don't know. The way they play, I don't think it's going to impact them all that much, right?
No.
Jonathan Taylor, they can run in the cold weather, so it's not like a team that's relying on the passing attack. They can run the football, so I don't know if the weather will have as big of an impact on them as you would think.
Let's do a little stock down. I'm going to start with mine. This is for the people who are taking a victory lap for me after week 1. I complained about Red Zone having commercials. I said I pay for a service that advertised itself as commercial free.
Yeah.
They then forced me to watch commercials, and then I had to take the backlash from people who are like, it's only 1 minute, you loser. Look at you complaining about 1 minute of commercials. They have already upped the amount of commercials 2 separate times on Red Zone 8 weeks into the season, 7 weeks into the season. They're forcing me every week to slowly watch more commercials and think I won't notice. It's like putting sawdust.
No, they're not forcing you.
It's the scientific experiment of how much sawdust can I put in a pancake before you notice it's more sawdust than pancake batter, by finding out how many commercials I'll tolerate before I do it. My whole thing is I was pitched a service, I paid for a service, and now I'm not getting the same service I was before. They've already upped it. So I don't want anybody who took the victory lap on its 1 minute of commercial to be like, it's only 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's already more than that.
I'll say the 1 week I don't watch Red Zone because I was at a noon Chiefs game.
That's true,
You're telling me this is what happened? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's been great. I've had no issues. So I'll check back in next Sunday and see where we're at. I don't know what everybody's complaining about because I didn't watch yesterday. I was at the game. So they were not doing this up until this week. Because I watched every other week. So you're telling me that yesterday they bumped it up to 7 or 8 commercials instead of the 4? If that's the case, then yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It was up a couple
But that was
minutes.
not how they were doing it before. So that's
I know,
a new
but
thing.
they're trying to sneak it in on you. By the time the year's done,
it'll be 5 minutes.
By the time
3
it's
minutes,
done,
or
it'll
2
be
minutes. Yeah.
by next year. It'll be 25 minutes.
I just think
I don't
now
think
this
you
is
guys are paying it'll be in a 7-hour
think
thing.
you're
It'll be
right, Cody.
25
I think you're
minutes,
right.
30 minutes. They're gonna push it to its maximum level. Just give it time.
Is your argument though that it's because you're paying? I guess what's the argument? Because it's no different than any other television. Then, if your complaint is I have commercials,
I paid for a commercial-free product, and now I'm not
for the
I'm paying
same price.
So
I had a product, and now
So you know where it's trending. Then in a year or so, they're going to do what Netflix did. You can have the cheaper version of Netflix with ads, or you can have the one that's ad free. So eventually,
you think that's the way they'll go
what's going to happen with Red Zone. We're going to get
How much is Red Zone right now?
I don't know. It's an add-on. It's is it $7.99?
I just pay it.
$7.99, $9.99.
Okay, because I think
for the guy that's complaining, I don't know. I just pay it.
$15 a month.
Is it really?
No,
That's
hold on.
high. That's high.
That's
That's high. That's too high.
That can't be right. Hold on.
I think it sounds about right.
People on the text line are saying, "What are you talking about?" I did not watch yesterday, so I don't know. I want to watch this next Sunday to see how bad it was. I think this is a little bit of people just want to shout, not just Cody. I'm like, I
do want to shout.
This is where people just want to shout and complain about it because they complained about it when it got announced 6 months ago. The same way you were saying people took a victory lap for saying it's fine is the reverse is happening now. People are taking a victory lap saying, "See, I told you, it's ruining it." It's the same thing, just reversed.
I warned from the beginning that the commercials would increase and that it wasn't going to just stick at 1 minute.
Next year we'll get Red Zone Premium with no ads or whatever for an extra $5 a month, or you can have the cheaper version with ads. That's where we're headed.
That might be where it's headed.
In general, Red Zone's still the best. I love it.
$9.99 a month.
I love it.
It appears.
I love it. It's the best. One of the great inventions or enhancements, I should say, of in television. Stock down for me, the Dolphins franchise. Notice I say franchise as a whole.
Can it get lower?
They're currently 1-6 as a team. They're not making any coaching changes at this time, according to Stephen Ross. Tua's a disaster. Tyreek Hill is done. They need to blow the whole roster up. They should trade Jalen Waddle here in a week or two. Stock down all the way around on the Dolphins franchise. They're a mess. Even if they get rid of Mike McDaniel, what good is that going to do? They're stuck with Tua.
Damn, their best offensive player, Darren Waller, literally, as you said, stock down. 30 seconds ago, Adam Schefter said that Darren Waller will have to have surgery on his pec.
He's been having a great season, too.
He's been good since he came back.
Yeah, he has. He's like their only decent player. Yeah, their stock is way down. Not going to make a move right now, huh?
That's what Stephen Ross said.
Okay.
At this time.
They're going to let the ship fully sink.
What about this time tomorrow?
This embarrassment that was yesterday.
Yeah, they're really bad. Drew, who you got stock down?
My stock down, Miami, Florida.
So
Speaking of Miami, we're talking about
having a rough go.
The city of Miami, Florida?
No, we're talking about the college football team, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes, not Miami of Ohio, Redhawks. So Miami, they lose to Louisville, who's actually a really good team, but it feels like that was the version of Miami that we've seen previously, where they look great, everything looks like it goes together, and then Carson Beck throws 4 picks and they lose a game. That's the version of Miami that I think we're kind of waiting to see, or we have seen, as like, hey, is this going to be the same Miami team where they lose a game, time management issues, some sort of thing, and then they end up not making the playoff? Because right now the schedule is light the rest of the way. They do have SMU, NC State, and who knows, Pitt could be pretty good by the end of the year. But if they don't make it to the ACC title game, they're not making the playoff for the second year in a row, when they felt like last year they were going to make it. This year they looked like the best team in the country. Now I wonder if it's the same old Miami that we've seen over the last 20 years, it seems like.
Yeah, they are.
It's not you.
It was but you know what? In fairness, it was a weird week for Miami. It was a weird week in college football. A bunch of ranked teams got beat by unranked teams.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge number there. All right, that's a little stock up, stock down. Let's talk Chiefs before we get to the random question here, or we'll get to it in the next segment. The Chiefs offense, I do very much. We got our first view gold. Not of the full offensive line again. Josh Simmons is currently not with the team, and obviously they lost Trey Smith for a portion of the game due to injury. But Hollywood Brown, Rasheed Rice, Xavier, we saw the shirt that Rasheed Rice had printed up for the trio of them after the game. Travis Kelce, Juju, a whole complement of weapons. And I understand it was a beatdown of epic proportions. But I do think it's worth pointing out that because you saw how little they did on offense, you might think that the Chiefs didn't have to have long drives. They had drives yesterday of 94 yards. They had drives yesterday of 84 yards, 92 yards. Went down and scored touchdowns on all those. Patrick Mahomes only had 5 possessions in that game himself. They scored on all 5 and had touchdowns on all 4. If you don't think that this has a strong likelihood of being the best offense in the NFL by the end of the season, I don't think we're watching the same game. There's a pretty Gold. You had conservatively said top 5 offense is what they probably should be based on all of this. Now I feel like the conservative estimate is healthy top 3.
Yeah.
Number 1. Like, I mean, is the ceiling. Now.
Coming off of yesterday, it's hard to argue. I mean, and Patrick Mahomes, the fact that he had 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in 3 drives. That's how he started the game. First 3 drives, 200 yards passing and 3 passing touchdowns. That is something you never have seen. He's the only quarterback since 2000. I don't know if there was somebody before. This stat was from Elias. I don't know if they didn't track this before, if there was a bunch of quarterbacks that were doing this prior to 2000. Doubt it, or what. But no other quarterback in the last 25 years did what Patrick Mahomes did yesterday. which is why, again, the whole PFF thing is laughable.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But
I don't want to get back into that.
No, we're not. But it just, as I said that, I was like, see, this is another example of why it makes no sense. But Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense still, as crazy as it sounds, yesterday, they were still holding back because Brown, Worthy, and Rice were only on the field together a handful of snaps. They didn't even use that until the second quarter. So all the talk that, hey, get the big three on the field at the same time, and not even including Travis Kelce in that group.
They weren't even running in the field at the same time.
Correct. Not all that often. And so wait till that happens even more in a game where they kind of have to have it. Maybe it's Buffalo, as I said, in a couple weeks. To me, that feels like the game in which we'll see the full go of the offense and utilizing every single weapon possible. And this is me saying that after a game in which they scored 31 points. What do you mean that wasn't full go? I think that was only like 75% of what they're really capable of doing.
They didn't have to go full go at any particular point based on the fact that they were an unstoppable juggernaut for a huge chunk of the game. Bad news, by the way.
I got the update. There it is.
Ian Rappaport now reporting Chiefs defensive tackle Omar Norman-Lott has lost his season. He suffered a torn ACL and is out for the year.
We kind of feared that the minute it happened.
Did fear that was going to be the case.
He barely could get to the sideline. Needed Mahomes and Kareem Hunt to help him. Then when he was trying to go down towards the locker room, he needed a lot of help because, as you guys know, there's like those stairs right there.
Yeah.
Kind of thought that was the case. It always comes out right after Andy Reid's press conference. We should have known better.
Yeah, I mean, look, they typically report on those things a little bit after, but it goes back to what we said earlier in the show, and then we can talk more about the offense for a second. But it goes back to what we said earlier in the show. Part of their plan to work on their defensive line throughout the season, maybe one of the few questions remaining on the team is whether or not they'll get regular pressure on teams. I think part of their plan was Ashton Gelati and Omar Norman-Lott just getting better. Like a normal rookie progression.
Correct.
By the end of the year, we'll use them more. And I think we saw a little bit of that small progression with Omar Norman-Lott throughout the season. So to lose him for the year kind of goes back to what we said in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, which is I do think that means they're going to have to add someone in the defensive line room before the end of the season.
I mean,
yeah, at the very least for some depth. But I already had that on the kind of like to buy list anyway, far above some other things. But if you're going to lose Omar Norman-Lott, it gets a little bit higher on the list, obviously, for that reason.
Yeah, if you're nitpicking where this team sits, defense, interior and edge. I mean, I don't know if they can do both, honestly, but interior and edge seems like in the next 2 weeks or so before November 2nd trade deadline, that's the area the Chiefs are going to have to address. How to what extent they do that, name recognition wise, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to get crazy and give up a major asset. I also don't know who all is going to be available. We'll get some more clarity on that. Remember, there's the financial ramifications too. People will throw out names like Jeffrey Simmons and things like that. There's a huge contract attached to that. So I don't know if that's even a market they would be all that interested in. It's a bummer because I think, the plan was for Norman-Lott to keep playing more. I will say the only part that gives me a little bit of confidence of where the defensive line is heading, not just because of yesterday, is it got wiped off the board. But Charles Omenihu, you have to admit, the last 3 or 4 games,
he is better. I don't know if I'd go 4 games out, but the last few games, he's definitely been better.
Yeah, he's started to have more of an impact in these games, and they're going to need it, and he has to be that way for them to be able to have any hope on the front of the line without trading for somebody, which I still think they just need for depth. Charles Omenihu is their only internal hope to go with Chris Jones, and Karloff has been saying that for a couple weeks.
A lot of it goes down to, and this is, I want to give credit to the right person, but I don't remember who sent it out. Someone who is employed at the KC Star who likes analytics. So Destiny Newell, Sam McDowell, someone in that camp had pointed out Charles Omenihu statistically has been far better in the second half of seasons, generally speaking, than he has been in the first half. Now, some of that's been because he's been unavailable, Gold, suspension, injury, whatever. But even in the seasons in which he was fully healthy for the entire season, he has been better in the second half regularly than he has been in the first half. So maybe he's just a second half player. Maybe he's, somewhere in that category. And so that could be some part of it and maybe what's playing into this. But he's a better player as the season goes on. So maybe we can count on that. But still, they need depth. Look, it could be an Uche type of deal, who I thought they still could have played more last year and didn't, whatever. But it needs to be, they need some kind of rotational piece. Maybe it's Tano Passanio, who got cut from the Bears last week. People are mentioning Mike Pennell back again from Cincinnati, or some of these other guys whose names have been mentioned before. And there's huge names out there, right? Like Jalen Phillips and Simmons from Tennessee and some others.
Yeah.
I just know they're going to have to do something. It can't just be, in my opinion, a move up from the practice squad and doing that. Back to, go ahead. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it, Drew. Actually, let's do a random question.
Random question.
We're going to talk more about the offense. We can do that later in the show. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965 over in the text line, or over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we interact with the show. Please like and subscribe over there. Pop to the top of your feeds. Tough to beat because you can see us on Face and we can interact with you just like in a regular circumstance. What's not to like about that? Of course, the random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. Question I have for you today is something we regularly discuss on this show. Heists. And boy, was there a biggie over the weekend. The Louvre, man. The most visited museum on the planet got robbed. Crown jewels stolen in just 7 minutes. A couple of guys popped a ladder, robbed a bunch of Napoleon Bonaparte jewels, and then got off in a brazen robbery over the weekend. The question I have for you is, do you think they'll ever get caught?
No.
Just flat out, do you think they'll get caught? Because normally when you get down to a heist like this, I got to think, you already got a buyer somewhere on this planet if you're stealing crown jewels from the most popular museum on the planet. I don't think you're going into that being like, hope I can hawk this to the nearest pawn shop. Maybe I can find somebody who's willing to buy these things off of me and not tell the authorities and keep it in some back room only for them to look at. I think you got it all laid out, man. It's pretty brazen to rob the Louvre, you have to admit. So you think they're never getting caught?
Yeah. This is straight out of a movie. And usually for these type of heists, goes back to the group, on Easter last year or 2 years ago, robbed that Garda facility and all that money. Now, this is a museum and a jewel that, you mentioned a buyer. I mean, this is not something you could just easily sell.
The freaking Louvre.
You can't just sell this, though. That's the only thing. And it's like, I don't think they're going to get caught. No, these are clearly a pro job. They were done in 7 minutes. This wasn't just some rando thing. These people had planned this out for a while, had thought it through. I can't believe that they were able to actually pull this off, though. They said they don't know why, though, that they left behind. Like, they had a chance to grab some other diamonds. That's how I know they're pros. Because they would, if they were amateurs, they would have grabbed this other diamond that apparently was next to it. Was a 140-carat diamond, which is valued at $60 million. It was right there. They could have grabbed as well.
I think
they went there for one thing.
I think they had buyers for the Bonaparte stuff. And you should probably just find the world's biggest Bonaparte collector and figure out if there's some guy who's just been owning all of that stuff during this time and has a bunch of money and lives in a different country. That's probably your buyer. I don't think you can sell, it's such a unique item. I don't think you can even sell this item. You don't think you could have a buyer for the Bonaparte stuff?
What's that person going to do with it?
Just keep it in a vault, just to look at and admire. I mean, what are you stealing this stuff for if you can't sell it? What's the point of stealing it? Just to own it yourself? You want to look at it in a closed room forever?
Someone said,
hoping people will forget?
This is from, I don't know where, this is from the BBC. And it says, there's also thought they could just break it up. Emeralds, they could just break it up and sell emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds and pearls. And they said that if that happens, then they have less than a week before this is lost forever, because they could melt down the metal, break up the metals, emeralds, sapphires, diamonds, and then sell those separately. And there's no way they could trace that once they melt it down.
Because they don't have like a unique identifying code or whatever.
That's why this says investigators might have less than a week before
why didn't they steal the giant diamond?
I agree.
They're just going to break it into pieces.
I don't know. I'm just reading, French Emmanuel Macron called it an attack on heritage that we cherish because it is our history. He vowed
this type of investigation,
to recover the works, and the perpetrators will be brought to justice.
I got to say, I don't know. The British Museum is really the guilty party of this. They've been robbing people of their goods for years. So, if for some reason it ended up at that museum, don't be surprised. They've been not returning people's antiquities for years.
Yeah, I mean,
what if it went the other way? If it was a country whose stuff has been stolen by these museums for years, and they just put it on display and be like, no, we found it.
It's in France, so it feels like it calls for one investigator who could get it done.
Leading Dutch art detective. What a
sweet job title.
A Dutch art detective.
That's pretty cool.
Arthur Brand, of course.
Cool.
I don't know.
The police have a week before the jewels vanish forever. The crown jewels are so famous you cannot just sell them. The only thing they can do is melt the silver and gold down, dismantle the diamonds, try to cut them. That's the way they will probably disappear forever. It's a race against time.
I don't know if I trust this guy. I don't know if I trust him.
Arthur brand.
No.
This does sound like a movie trailer the way you're saying it.
We need Jacques Cousteau is who we need.
I can't believe. How did you just at what school did you have to go to? What things did you do in your life to eventually end up with the title art detective? That sounds like a made-up title for a future USA show.
Doesn't it scream?
Art detective?
Doesn't it scream like Paris though? It screams like that.
It screams Thomas Crown Affair. Okay,
yeah.
I mean,
classic big heist.
That's what it screams here. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if Mr. Brand is going to be able to get this done. I feel like I don't know if he's up for it.
It's a race against the clock.
Make sure he's not involved.
Anybody watch those 48-hour shows? They talk about it, man. You got to solve these crimes quick.
Yeah, you got to get it
done. The case goes cold.
Well,
right,
in this case, they're saying they'll melt it all down, and then it won't be able to track it. And they'll move on.
Doesn't feel like you're getting nearly the net worth of these things by melting it down and cracking.
You're probably
these things
still getting hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, for only 7 minutes of work.
That's what's insane.
It was efficient. They just they drove the ladder down the road, popped it on the side of the building, popped in, robbed it, left.
How much type of how long planning wise do you think that
year? I don't think you just do that on a weekend.
I don't know. Months and months.
Yeah, at least months.
I'm telling you.
In broad daylight.
Recent, by the way. That Netflix,
really?
That Netflix.
Right? Wasn't it broad daylight?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's even more crazy. That means there's an inside person. That means it's got to be partially an inside job then.
Oh, I love the term. Inside job, that makes it even more interesting. Now we're like, wait. I will say Heist on Netflix was really good. It's a recent Heist show. Did you watch that one?
I think the long series, there's like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in it's
subtitles.
subtitles.
Like 2-3 seasons.
Subtitles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Really good.
I'm with you. All right.
Or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? Heist? Whatever.
I think you're right. Yeah, I know exactly what show you're talking about. Anyway, we will get back into the Chiefs. A little bit on Rasheed Rice's return. More on the AFC West, including an all-time comeback, unfortunately, for the Denver Broncos. What does that tell us about them moving forward and their odds to win this division? Next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You could be making selections tonight on the Missouri side over at Underdog. It's one of the best places to get in on the action. And right now on the Missouri side, you don't have to wait till December. You can make selections right now by playing on Underdog. It's easy. You just choose which players will go higher or lower than their favorite stats. Been really hard to not go higher on Jackson Smith-Njigba. It's all the way up to 87.5 receiving yards. He's been hitting that number regularly over on Underdog. So the temptation gets more and more. Get those entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, I like the variety of ways in which you can play. Ladders and drafts and streaks and pick'ems and champions. You can pick a player out of 9 different offered and have a discount applied and continue to get those selections right and move up those selections. It's nice over at Underdog to have a variety of selections to choose from. So join me by downloading the app today and sign up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is?
Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 42424. That's METER to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Creed Humphrey. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
The Jewels, the Louvre.
We like I mean, who doesn't like a heist? Everyone's fascinated by
Heist
that.
movies are great. I never got that big into the Pink Panther stuff, though. Like,
No.
we've all heard the theme song.
What?
But yeah.
Did
The
you guys-
cartoon?
did you guys-
watch
hang
the?
on. You mean like the cartoons, or you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get into the cartoons like that, but
I figured you
Not
would.
the movies either, really.
the ones with Steve Martin. Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't really watch those.
What?
No.
There are so many quotable lines from that. Oh my
Did you
goodness.
guys, everybody does it different, obviously. Did you guys have to learn, I learned like the words of being to that song. Like
I have no idea what you're
there
talking about.
was, that like we learned all the, oh man.
I'm lost. I'm lost on this one. I don't know what you're
You
talking
learned the words to the.
No. Like, we had a teacher who taught us the grammatical words of being. There was, as. We learned all those to the Pink Panther
to the song?
Yeah.
That's why I'm confused.
Probably just
No.
a teacher who taught it.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's how, just a teaching tool she used. She
Yeah.
used that song.
I didn't know if
The
that was
melody
universal
sticks in your head,
or
so
like,
the melody sticks in your head,
Yeah.
so I get why they'd use that. Yeah.
it's the same as why there was a song for the, the states in alphabetical
For
order, which I
sure.
assume most people can still do because of that.
I feel
I
like
had
the
not heard that
fact
associated with Pink Panther, though.
I feel like the fact that I love the Pink Panther movies also goes into the fact that I've never seen Casino. I think all of this it all just relates together in some way, shape, or form.
Child at heart,
Oh, 100%.
All right, let's get back into the Chiefs. We certainly have seen, for those of you texting, and we talked about Omar Norman a lot. We'll get back to that here in 25 minutes or so. The unfortunate news from Ian Rappaport that Omar Norman Lott is out for the season with the serious knee injury that we all kind of feared when it happened at the time. And we will get back into that discussion here in a little bit. Don't forget also on Mondays, it is our lunch partners over at 30 Hop that have the awesome special every Monday, $5.99 classic burgers. 30 Hop out in Lee Summit, also in Merriam at Grand Station. It's an American bar and kitchen. If you haven't tried it before, awesome bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. And again, on Mondays, $5.99 classic burgers, local beer, American Eats Big Patio over at 30 Hop. So the Chiefs' offensive expectations, we were in the middle of talking about that. Then the unfortunate update about Norman Lott came down, and we kind of halted our conversation. Rest of the way, they can be the best offense in football. The Colts are right now the best offense in football. That's why I don't think it's a guarantee, maybe the way some people are talking about it.
Colts are scoring almost a touchdown more a game than the Chiefs on average this season.
That's why I still stick with the top three. Seems like the real conversation to be had here. If the Colts stay healthy, I don't think their offense is just going to suddenly fall apart in that regard.
No, I don't think so either. Jonathan Taylor.
I have
it's all
more
working.
questions about their defense, the Colts defense, that is, which is also playing at a very, very high level. But my expectation for this Chiefs offense is that it's going to be top three, that they are going to be able to score with anybody in a given game because of how well this defense is going, which is why when I look at the AFC West, and let's focus our attention there now, the AFC West, you watch what the Broncos were able to do. They come all the way back, scoring 33 points in the fourth quarter. For starters, I don't think the Chiefs in one quarter would have blown a 19-point lead. I understand they blew a lead to the Jags, but the Chiefs are not doing what the Giants just did to a division rival in the Denver Broncos, giving up 33 in one quarter, for crying out loud. So that's part of it. You look at the rest of the division. Chiefs have the best offense in the division.
Yes.
It's not even close anymore. For the first few weeks, people were looking at the Chargers. Defensively, the Broncos still have the best defense in the division. The Chiefs have the second best defense easily in the division. Not even close.
You know that the Chiefs actually are better points per game right now than the Broncos?
Oh, well, this is what a shutout.
I know. I'm just. Yeah. I know. I'm just.
When you have a week where you don't give up a single point, you're going to jump.
Sure.
You're
going to
jump.
Broncos just gave up 30.
Yeah, you're going to jump. I mean, it's a 60-point swing. Mm-hmm. It's a 60-point swing. For
Chiefs are currently third in the NFL in points per game. The Denver Broncos.
You would agree,
fourth.
though. You would agree. The Broncos
I think the Broncos have a better defense.
Okay.
I know. I was just pointing out a stat.
All right, just check.
This goes back to Pro Football Focus. I also have eyes. I'm not like an idiot.
You're not PFF.
I'm just saying, in a points per game perspective, the Chiefs actually do have it. But no, it's so weird. One, I'm just annoyed at the Giants. You blew it, you jerks. You had them at a 19-point fourth quarter deficit. Hell, you got a touchdown on a tipped ball deflection that went all the way into Theo Johnson into the end zone. They gave you a multiple score lead, 3-score lead with 5 minutes to go. Then Jackson Dart did what rookie quarterbacks do, gave away an impossibly bad interception. Then they couldn't get off the field, and they let the Broncos score 33 points. I am not overwhelmed by either of them yet, partially because they both have very clear weaknesses. I am not impressed by the Denver Broncos offense, aside from one fourth quarter in which they absolutely dominated. So unless they're going to start playing closer to that the rest of the time, I'm not there. And do you realize that the Chargers rank 17th in points per game on defense and 23rd in points per game on offense? Meaning they're not doing either side of the ball well and have lost 3 of their last 4 games and barely beat Miami. Otherwise, they would have lost 4 games in a row, Gold. All the goodwill they earned by winning 3 straight games in a row to open the season against 3 divisional opponents, putting their stamp on things. They've lost all that goodwill. It's gone. They might, you mentioned earlier, they might miss the playoffs. They'd be in the playoffs if it started today. The Chiefs would still be out.
The good thing for them is that very thing. You look at the rest of the AFC, and it is still very wide open, especially for if we're just talking getting to the postseason.
Yeah.
Like, they're still there. I think there's a real chance that they don't, because now it looks like the AFC East is, can I say it, for sure getting 2 teams? Are you there yet on the Patriots? Can I say for sure getting 2 teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I had the Patriots before the season.
Okay, so even better.
As a playoff team.
All right, so
I
2,
feel comfortable.
So 2 teams in the AFC East. The AFC North, is it a one playoff team division? Or
Yes.
Okay.
1.
The division winner. The division winner. Okay. So there's 3 of the spots.
2 in the South, I would still guess. My guess it's still Jacksonville.
Jacksonville better get going. That's the
all right, maybe not them.
Look, I
say probably.
I had them win a division, so I still think there's something there, but I don't like how they're playing right now.
I just don't think 3 teams out of the West necessarily, you know.
Well, that's what I'm getting at is how realistic is that it's only a 2 playoff team AFC West this year. And if it's only 2, then it's the Chiefs and Broncos.
If it comes down to, look, the Broncos, this doesn't surprise you or I. You and I going into the season, the Broncos have a plus 36 point differential. You and I both thought before the year, the second best team in the division was the Broncos. They are. They just are. And not because, and I get it, they've eked past. Their 3-game stretch was a 14-point deficit come from behind against Philly, a 19-point fourth quarter deficit against the Giants, and they barely beat the Jets. And so, like, I'm not saying it's, woo, the Jets and the Giants? Damn, you're playing close with them. They're not even good football teams. And the Eagles are, obviously, and they had to make a huge comeback to do it. They're doing it the hard way, which means I think normal teams, aggregate, will catch up on you. Seriously, right now, what do the Chargers do really well right now? Not protect Justin Herbert. As a result of that, Justin Herbert's not playing well. They don't run the ball particularly well. They're without their starting running back, and Amari and Hampton. They are not very good at pass defense or rush defense. They're not doing anything well. They're doing everything either mediocre or bad. And so, like, that's a team that
that's why they won, 1 out of their last 4?
Yeah, and I haven't looked at their schedule, but that's why I'm going to have a hard time saying that if their schedule doesn't lighten up in a hurry, that they could have problems. They face the Vikings at home this Thursday night.
We don't know if that'll be Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy.
We don't. J.J. McCarthy practiced the previous week, but it's a Thursday night.
And Wentz looked terrible this past week.
Normally, if it was an Andy Reid-led team, I'd tell you it's next week because they would, on a short week, not start him. Whatever. Titans on the road. It's the Titans. They're awful. You should be able to beat them. Steelers at home. That's tough. Jags on the road. That's tough. Raiders at home. It should be a win. I mean, it's not the easiest schedule.
But then Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos.
Yeah.
The Jags
that's no easy way to finish.
I mean, that's one of those wild card tiebreaker type of games where you look at how big that game could be, you know?
And it's on the road. It's a noon game. They got to travel. And I always point this out. Traveling from L.A. to Jacksonville for a noon game, it's not fun work. And they got to do it 2 weeks in a row. They go from L.A. to Pittsburgh. They're at home for that one. They're in LA and then they got to go to Jacksonville. That's tough.
Someone said Herbert had 420 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kind of good. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why you can't just box score solo. You have to watch the game.
He was part of the problem of why they lost. He had 2 picks.
He had a red zone a goal line interception as well, and they were down by 20. So he threw the ball 420 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw the ball 55 times.
All 3 of those touchdowns was when his team was trailing 21 points at the time he threw the touchdown. Ooh, you got me. That'd be like Geno Smith throwing 3 touchdowns in that game after it was 31-0. I don't care. The game was mostly in hand when Herbert got the yardage.
To the texter's point, only thing I will agree with that text, I'd say Herbert is not the reason why they're 1-3 or whatever here the last 4 weeks. They got plenty of other issues, but to act like Justin Herbert played great yesterday, it was pretty good. I don't know about that. Yeah, they had multiple times where they were about to knock on the door and make it interesting, and he threw some terrible interceptions. You know what I loved listening to yesterday? I was driving home from the game, and after Chiefs post game had wrapped up a little bit, and I flipped on they're basically the red zone version, but for radio, okay? And so they're NFL radio, or whatever, and they bounce around to the games, but it's the local announcer. So think of if red zone had the local calls of on the TV side instead of the national. Anyway, I only bring this up because they had the Chargers game on, and they had the local Chargers crew. I don't know the names of the broadcasters by any means. I loved it because they were so like
mean.
No, well, like it'd be like. So play happens, it's like, and there's Herbert. He rolls out to his right, and it's intercepted. Just a bad pass. Like, it was great. I loved it. It was like, oh, that
you
was
love their disappointment. Is what
I love the disappointment because of the Chargers, but I love the honesty. Instead of this crap all the time where it's like, that was actually a great decision by Herbert. Just some bad luck there. No, just be honest. The throw sucked. I appreciate it. I took great joy in listening to that on the drive home.
Throw.
It feels like I don't know, Gold. It feels like you. If you might have gone back and watched the highlight videos of them losing that game to the Colts at some point.
I picked the Chargers to win the game, in fairness.
I know.
I was way wrong.
He definitely thought the Chargers were winning that game.
I did.
It was in our picks contest. We chose it for one of our picks for Circa.
I understand, but I think if the script was flipped and the Giants scored 33 points and came back on the Broncos, it feels like you would take great joy in going back to watch the highlights and that just to laugh a you feel like
I think part of sports, and I don't understand why we're getting it. I actually think Drew posted something of the opposite of this on social media this weekend.
I did.
I don't think we should root for people to lose their jobs in fairness.
Around this college coaching so around Florida and Billy Napier, it was getting ridiculous.
No, but I think sometimes we can all understand, like, it's coming and it was time.
Correct.
I'm not rooting for Mike McDaniels to lose his job.
Well, because
it's
not those guys. The assistant coaches and their families get uprooted and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the truth.
So as
Franklin gets a $90 million buyout or whatever it is, but his assistant offensive line coach doesn't. You know what I mean?
But from an individual perspective, I agree. As a team, I think part of a great joy in sports is enjoying the downfall of a team that you don't like.
Of course.
It brings me such joy
100%.
to watch the Chargers get their ass kicked or a team that you dislike.
What do you think a lot of this? What do you think a lot of this Cincinnati stuff is based off of on this show? Not only, yeah. And Drew
said I would be coming here on Monday after a Chiefs loss.
You said that. You said that.
I said the Raiders better not. You better hope the Raiders don't somehow win. Which I picked the Chiefs. There's no way they were losing that game.
Did you save that audio too? Because I said if you save the audio, you got to save it so we can play it back on the other side.
I can go back and I can pull it, and I said you better hope that they don't lose.
Mm-hmm. And I said, stop. They're not losing to the Raiders.
Yes, correct. And we all picked the Chiefs to win, and that happened. But the main thing around me was I think it was the Florida fans of yesterday morning. It was coaches meeting planned for 1 p.m. It's almost time, Florida fans. Get ready. The time has finally come. It's like, we don't need to do this. Like we really don't need to do this. We know
tough,
it's
man.
coming.
When you want a culture change.
It sucks. And yes, it was time. Billy Napier should have been fired, and it happened. But we don't have to be like, you guys can almost get your popcorn out. It's almost time to celebrate. It's like, guys, we really don't need to be doing this.
I get it. It's a little weird when you're like, ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's essentially the energy everybody is giving in these. But man, when you're like, it's weird. Sports take the personal out of it sometimes.
Correct. No, 100%. I think we all fall victim to doing it.
I think just as long as you make it about the game, I genuinely think I kind of let it go. As in, like, you're like, finally my program is free. Just as long as you don't utter the sentence, I'm glad he's kicked out of the home from Florida, and I hope he has to move out of the state, and his kids have to change schools. Just as long as you don't start doing that, Drew, I mostly let it live, Just as long as you keep the personal out of it, and it's just about the sport and the team, it is what it is. I don't think it's as much as they're celebrating the person losing their job as there is, finally my team is free of a person who I do not think is a good head coach.
Yeah,
and it's nice for me to feel the freedom of it. It's like a weird line, but I do think that there is a line, I guess.
I hear you.
Yeah,
what's the firing you were the happiest about, Gold? Jeez. Was it some Kansas one? Was it Weiss?
Which out of
I think
honestly,
Cornell?
I mean, this is the reality of it. Like, some of the individuals got fired seem like easier people to root for than others. How about that? Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, yes, I guess it would be Charlie Weiss.
Yeah, come on. And that's the other part, Drew, that we're not even calculating. What if they're not good people?
See, this is the text that I'm talking about. This is the text.
Am I allowed to root for Deshaun Watson losing?
This is the text I'm talking about. Someone says, coaches don't get fired, they get bought out. I'll save my concern for someone who's actually suffering. Here's my pushback on that, and I hear you. James Franklin financially is going to be totally fine. He could never work a day in his life.
In the staff.
It's the up-and-coming assistant, I keep using this example, assistant offensive line
Andy
coach.
Kolnicki, former
or whatever. But even, I'll even
there.
take him out of that because he's at least making probably $300,000 a year or something.
Right.
I'm talking about
position coaches.
I'm talking about the guy making $40,000 a year to be on the staff that moved him and his girlfriend or whatever or fiance with their young kid out 100%. There to Pennsylvania. Now he's got to move again and his wife and kids and go find another job, and he's not quote unquote making that much money. That's the trickle down effect that I'm talking about.
Does it feel like we're supposed to play, as the text line pointed out?
Yeah.
Is this when we're supposed to play the Matt Castle "We Are Not Gladiators" audio?
Eric Winston?
Eric Winston.
Eric Winston.
Well, Castle getting hurt.
Yeah, but it was Eric Winston.
Yeah, Eric Winston who actually did the speech.
Getting hurt is another level. If you're cheering Winston, that's another level.
It's a very famous moment here in town where it was "We Are Not Gladiators" because Kansas City fans did cheer.
That was bad. That was bad.
When Eric Winston got hurt.
And Eric Winston was gone the next year, too.
Castle got hurt.
He could never come back after that comment either.
No, because it is. It's like if you go after fans. Now people are just around the text line just talking about how happy they were when some people got out. Bob Sutton, that was just one of those it's time.
Yes.
We've all had it's time. Drew did, I will say, Gold, you pointed out, are you feeling like maybe Cincinnati made a mistake on Lou Anarumo? Or is this one of those it was time there too? It seems like it's going fine in Indianapolis. Cincy's defense is still giving up 30 a game.
Yeah,
the Colts defense had quite the little shift. Sometimes it's just time. It's not like coach or player or circumstance. Sometimes it's just you need a change.
I would say it's both. I think it's a little bit of both, where it just felt like it was time. Lou had been there for a while, and obviously the group talent wise is not seemingly what it is in Indianapolis. So
Cincy's got the second worst scoring defense in the NFL right now.
This is the first game where I have no pushback in how the defenses looked. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a
tough
Steelers.
One. Aaron Rodgers looked really good, though.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll get to what's trending. We'll also talk more about Omar Norman-Lott, who unfortunately is done for the season with a serious knee injury that confirmed from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. But I want to talk about Rasheed Rice a little bit. We all know it was his return, all the excitement with that. And he delivered.
Early.
14 routes run, 7 catches.
10 targets.
10 targets, 2 touchdowns he had in the game. And he spoke after the game just basically being back out on the field.
It was great. It's honestly hard to explain the feeling I got to just be able to run out there and see the fans, filling up the stadium, just the passion in my brother's eyes is amazing.
And he also spoke at the podium. He was asked basically, did you kind of, roundabout way, did you maybe take playing football for granted, and he kind of acknowledged when something taken away from you or almost taken away from you, and his own doing, by the way. But I'm just saying,
yes,
when that happens, and does it make you appreciate it more? And he kind of was acknowledged that,
I would think it would. Look, he got targeted on 70% of the routes he ran. He got in the end zone twice. He led the team in catches, not in yards. That was Travis Kelce. I think the biggest question, I think there were 2 questions surrounding Rasheed Rice. 3 actually. One was smaller, hey, is he fine after the injury? Does he have the same explosiveness? Didn't think it was a real concern, but, you got to see it sometimes, Gold. That kind of thing. The second was, what does his target share look like in an offense that has a full complement of weapons? Last year's target share was insane. Of course it was insane. He was one of the few guys worthy passing the ball to for the first 3 games of the season. Year before, Travis Kelce actually led the team in targets, so he had a high workload, but not an out-of-control workload. So that was the other question, how much will they target him? And then the rest of it was, what does the offense look like when they get their what do they look like when they get their number 1 wide receiver back? They were an offense who was scoring 30 points a game before Rasheed Rice came back for the last 3 games. In the 4th game, they could have scored 50. They stopped at 31, but let's not kid ourselves. Had they just decided to go for it, they could have scored 50 points in that game easy. They had 5 possessions. They scored on all 5 and got touchdowns on 4. They only made Rasheed Rice get a jog in. He only ran 14 routes. We pointed this out earlier. Robert Tonyan played more snaps than Chris Jones in that game. The Chiefs had more first downs than the Raiders ran plays. So, they didn't need to see the full version of it, and it still looked impressive because of the red zone, because of the ease of it, because the yards after catch, all the things we thought would exist with Rasheed Rice, we didn't get the full taste of it, but we definitely got the sampler platter.
Definitely.
We got a little all of it.
Yeah, you can see the excitement from 2 off seasons ago when they brought in everybody, when they had a Rasheed Rice with Worthy, with Brown, and we got a glimpse of it. I think that's correct. I still think it was only about 75% or so of what really the offense can be, and not just because they took foot off the gas, but we only saw a handful of snaps where Rice, Worthy, and Brown were on the field at the same time. we saw a 5 wide look at least once. I think it was maybe only once where it was Worthy, Brown, Rice, Thornton, and Brashard Smith split out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed out on the football field.
And they didn't seem like they knew how to handle it. They were wide open plays. This goes back to the Pro Football Focus. He gets dinged because he hit wide open wide receivers. Well, that's what happens when you got an incredibly talented offense. People were running open. There's wasn't a lot of tight coverage in the game, right?
Yeah, Mahomes just sitting back there and slinging it, man. He made it look easy. And a lot of that is their own play design. It's also, yes, partially the Raiders having no answer to match up in that way. They had no personnel, really, especially when Max Crosby got hurt. Then you were really not worrying about any sort of pass rush. I think one time late in the game, the Raiders got to him on a blitz, and the game was well over at that point. That was it.
I can't believe, I will say, cowardly of Andy to not let Gardner Minshew throw a single pass.
There's no reason. They already were down.
Come on, man.
A couple linemen already got hurt.
Come on, let that man throw a pass.
I know, but a couple linemen got hurt.
He went to St. Joe. He had to sweat it out. That man had to work all year.
He's getting paid.
Let him get a pass in. I don't know when he's going to get another chance. He can't get a pass?
He might get a chance on Monday night. Might get another chance Monday night. It's his Commanders team.
You think he's going to get another one against the Commanders? Commanders are not playing clean football. The real bigger question with him is, have we seen an update on Jaden Daniels?
Nothing yet today. MRI, I believe, happening on the I think it was a hamstring injury, but he also has the knee problem that he had from earlier that caused him to miss a couple weeks.
He gave his mom a thumbs up in the crowd, I saw.
Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites right now.
Is that because they think Jaden Daniels isn't going to play? That's a big number if Daniels plays.
The Commanders defensively are not good.
I got to say, that is a...
Terry McLaurin's been hurt.
I know, but that is a quick shift in the Chiefs' lines. That is a competitive NFL football team.
It's the offense we're just talking about.
When did he get hurt in that game?
Late third quarter.
I mean, they weren't playing that great anyway.
They were already getting blown out. There was no reason to put him back in the game.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have Terry McLaurin. I don't think did Debo even play either. I think Terry McLaurin and Debo were both out for the Commanders. So they're lacking offensive weapons. Their defense got torched by Dallas, and the Chiefs
beat up.
Offense is going to have plenty of opportunity to do the same. We'll see if they get some of their guys back healthy, and we'll have all week to talk about the Commanders. But that game doesn't feel right now as daunting as it maybe did 3 weeks ago. That's all.
No, it doesn't look the same level.
I mean, they could be playing Marcus Mariota.
Well, part of that is because how much better they're playing.
Yep.
The Chiefs are playing so much better. Opponents start to look easier a little bit on paper.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. Then we will talk about the unfortunate news surrounding Omar Norman Lott, the injury that's going to keep him out for the rest of the season. Don't forget, though, on Mondays, football coverage is presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success. At Busey Bank, they've been building businesses and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You take a step outside and tell me you don't want to sit outside on your deck. Sit outside on your screen porch. And if you don't have that dream project yet, All Weather Decks is ready to build it for you. The right deck at the right price. They're a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award, locally owned and operated, operating in the Kansas City area for nearly 15 years. And it doesn't matter whether it be a natural wood deck, composite, covered deck, the screen porch where I watched the game yesterday. You have those options available to you because they've completed projects in every part of the metro area. Look, maybe you're looking for some inspiration. You just want to see photos. They've got pictures of their work all over their website at allweatherdecks.net. Testimonials for the people who've talked about the quality of work that they do over there as well, and a map of their completed jobs. They want you to have that dream outdoor space. And with a day like today, it is easy to dream about what that dream outdoor space should look like. Give All Weather Decks a call and schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal.
This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets. From yards to touchdowns to who will win, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Tonight, FanDuel's giving all customers a 30% profit boost token. That's right, you can get in on all the action with a 30% PBT this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Whenever you want to bet, whatever you want to bet, just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to bet on the game. That's FanDuel.com/Alex. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Discover the latest HVAC, plumbing, and trade solutions with companies like Milwaukee and Champion and 20-plus other vendors at the Kansas City Wind Supply Group Vendor Showcase. This Thursday, October 23rd, 3 to 6 at J. Rieger & Co. Distillery. Plus, enjoy complimentary food, drinks, tours, prizes, and networking.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
Yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
Out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
What's trending? Brought to you, of course, by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive since 1942. Telly certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number one on What's Trending. We're going to talk more about this, but the unfortunate update we got about an hour ago from Ian Rappaport, as expected, Omar Norman Lott, the Chiefs' second-round pick, suffered a torn ACL. He is out for the season. So, unfortunately, got to look ahead to 2026 for him. He was hoping he was going to start to get a little more playing time. An unfortunate injury. He kind of had that feeling immediately with the way the team reacted, the way he reacted, and it is what we all thought, a torn ACL.
We'll talk about it more here in just a few minutes, as Gold pointed out. Next up on What Trending, the Blue Jays did force a Game 7 last night with a cruised win 6-2 over the Mariners. Game 7 tonight.
All right.
For a chance to go to the World Series to lose to the Dodgers. 7:08. First pitch.
You're not giving them any chance.
The Dodgers will
Literally?
win. Yep,
Nope.
Dodgers will win.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could be wrong.
I would love for the Mariners
I
or Blue
hope I'm
Jays.
wrong, honestly.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
I just think 1 through 4 in that rotation for the Dodgers is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
They're pitching like Paul's. Have you seen the stats? In the last 80 games, Drew, the numbers they're putting up in the rotation match that of Paul Skeen's numbers this season. The
Yeah, from Shohei to
NL
Blake
Cy
Snell
Young
to-
Award.
to
Yeah,
Yamamoto.
that's what they're pitching
Yeah.
for 80 consecutive games as a staff.
Yeah, their staff is a Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Elsewhere, Monday Night Football, it is a great sports night. You get Game 7, and then you get a doubleheader.
Double dip.
You got at 6 o'clock, the Detroit Lions trying to bounce back from their loss to Kansas City. They're taking on Baker and the Bucs. Baker Mayfield's weapons once again going to be limited with some of the injuries. In the late game tonight, 9 o'clock in Seattle, the Seahawks taking on the Texans. For our circa million pick, we need Seattle to cover the 3. If they do, we'll have a 4-1 week.
Okay.
We're guaranteed a 3-2 week, hoping for a 4-1.
Currently, we rank in the top 5% of all entries.
All right,
Not
all
bad. We had ourselves up to top like 1% there for a brief period of time, but then, of course, we had a 2 and 3 week. So, that changes on you.
Someone
quickly.
said Raiders fans are all switching to Dodgers fans tonight.
Lastly, on What's Trending, the only local college football team in action, Missouri did get a win over Auburn 23-17. Took overtime in order to get it done, double overtime in order to get it done. It was a wild weekend in college football. Multiple unranked teams took down the ranked opponents across their schedule. Best game of the slate was Georgia Ole Miss, although those are both ranked teams.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of upsets in college football this weekend, including Texas Tech getting shut down offensively by Arizona State,
they had a
which
backup quarterback.
messed up that little end a bit, and it was, it was just kind of all over the board.
Yeah, it was a good sports weekend. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. So Omar Norman Lott, it sucks. He's done for the year with an ACL injury. Someone that I think they were going to start utilizing more and more as the season went on. It puts more emphasis on Charles Omenihu, who's playing better the last few weeks. It also, I think, makes it very obvious. Before you just wanted it because you thought to get him over the top. Now, out of necessity, I think they're going to have to trade or sign some defensive lineman here pretty soon.
Here are the guys that Pro Football Focus, not giving grades. Not giving grades.
No, get out of here.
Not
Give me some
giving
other
grades.
site. I'm done with them.
It's just a list of potential trade candidates.
Okay.
We're not mentioning Pro Football Focus grades, just defensive linemen who could be traded. Jalen Phillips, obviously at the top of the list. Kayvon Thibodeau for the New York Giants.
Okay.
He's getting closer to the end of his contract.
That would be fun.
They just drafted Abdul Carter, so there might be a little bit of flexibility there on his end. So he's getting mentioned on the list. Trey Hendrickson, you're not going to be surprised, is on the list because depending on... Now, I'd say their win certainly makes it harder for them to be in any kind of trade mode in the early end. Arden Key, the edge player for the Tennessee Titans, to go with
Tiger,
Simmons,
right?
former Missouri Tiger. on the list as well. So there are guys available out on the market. It's just a matter of, I think the way the Chiefs have to view this, and last year they did this. Last year they gave up quite a few picks. They viewed this as a chance at history, a chance at a three-peat, and it was worth the investment in order to win the Super Bowl. I think if any given year you think that you have a, let's call it better than 50% chance of winning a Super Bowl with only one notable deficiency of roster construction, as in a unit in which you could question, I think you trade. I think you give up the asset. The way the offense is playing right now, the way this team is motivated, and just the way the energy is in the building, it is hard for me to say, nah, hold on to your assets and let's figure this out later. I am more willing than probably even last year in some ways to give up a draft asset for a defensive lineman. If there was one that had, I don't know, longer term options, I'd be interested.
Yeah, Thibodeau does sound funny. The question I have with some of the bigger names is the contract after this year. And, this is a Chiefs team that, of course, the Karlaftis number doesn't kick in for another year or so. But Chris Jones, we went over this. His cap hit next year is like $45 million. We know Mahomes is going to be due for a new deal in the offseason. That's going to kick that number up. I understand they will have flexibility with it, but that number goes up. I think we've all acknowledged Trent McDuffie is someone they would like to get a deal done with in the offseason. His number could tick up. I don't know how much financial flexibility they have.
Do you want to know Thibodeau's number?
Past this year. What is his number?
Kayvon Thibodeau, for the remainder of this year, will be owed about $4 million, so that can be managed under the cap. Next year, he has a $9.9 million cap hit.
That's not too bad. Not too bad at all.
There's a potential out on the contract if for some reason he wasn't any good, although the dead cap's a little too high. Never mind. They put it as a potential out, but I don't agree. $9.9 million cap hit. He would have a $14 million fifth-year first-round option in the following year for the team.
Is there real thought that the Giants are trading Thibodeau?
He's been mentioned on a couple of lists. So there was. So here's why I'll mention.
Why would they trade?
What would you be willing to give it?
Here's what I'll mention about the rumor. Kayvon Thibodeau has been rumored to be traded for more than a year. There are some thoughts because they were going to draft Abdul Carter that pre-draft there were rumors about Thibodeau.
And they played him out of position against the Chiefs too.
They play him out of position. There is some thought that maybe they'd move on from him. I'm not saying it's likely.
This feels like the Bills are trade. This feels like a Bills trade more than the Chiefs.
I'm just saying 9.9 next year, 14.7 on the fifth-year option. He is not that expensive as a player.
So I'm curious, question for you guys. Would you rather them get an edge guy or interior defensive line, or does it not matter? It doesn't matter.
I mean, both help, but for heading in the next edge because it helps you next. You know what I mean? Like to me, we all acknowledge that there's a good chance they have to draft a defensive lineman in the first round next year. With where the Chiefs draft, pick 32 or 28 to 32 pretty much every year.
You can find a good interior guy, but
hard to find an edge at 32. So I would say I'd be more interested in an edge, but it's trickier to find. That's all.
Cowboys would make sense. They have the extra draft capital. They don't look, you're not going to outbid the Cowboys on anybody on the defensive line, okay? They've got a good enough offense. At some point, they're going to take all that capital they got from Micah Parsons, who was beyond dominant in that game against Arizona yesterday. See, he's single-handedly the biggest reason why they won that game yesterday. He was a force in the game. Mm-hmm. So they're going to take some of those assets, and they're going to go get one of the big boys, Jalen Phillips, Trey Hendrickson. If any of those guys get traded, Dallas Cowboys are first, so get further down the list. I'm just pointing out he's in the rumor mill.
Few people on the text line bringing up Calais Campbell, who's in Arizona right now. He's got 3 sacks for the season. Now,
he's
39 years old.
He's old.
I mean, if they'll take a 6th for him, come on down.
Or a 7th. I mean,
wouldn't go any higher than
3
that.
sacks at age 39 is really impressive. But is he going to have enough in the tank by the time he gets to the playoffs? Because that's ultimately what this trade is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said they trade a 2nd or a 1st for Kayvon. I think that's ridiculous.
No.
Someone also, a 2nd?
Someone said Fulton for Jeffrey Simmons and draft choices. You'd have to give up draft choices and Fulton to get Simmons single-handedly. Simmons is that good. Fulton's not playing.
They're not going to want. Why would the Tides want Fulton?
Exactly.
Trading a 2nd or for
hold on.
How about a 3rd?
Let me look up
maybe I'd
Thibodeau's seasons by year. 4 sacks is 3rd. 4 sacks his rookie year. He's also not their prototypical guy because they don't play ins at linebacker. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily a fit for the way they traditionally play defense because he's been in a 3-4, whatever. 11.5, but he could play end. 11.5 sacks in his 2nd year, which was pretty impressive. 5.5 in 12 games last year. He's got 2.5 in 7 games this year.
No more than the 3rd.
Yeah, that feels about the range. I could be talked into a 2nd, just
Problem
knowing
for
what they
the Chiefs
traditionally
is,
take. But
Cody, their 3rd is like a 4th, right? So they probably have to give up the 2nd.
Do they have any additional picks next year?
We looked this up.
I don't think so. I think somebody on the text line
pretty much just
look, this stuff will heat up. Not necessarily with him, but in 2 weeks. November 2nd, I think, at like 3 Eastern or 4 Eastern. Sorry, on November 2nd. So we're getting there.
Is it the second?
Am I off on that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Maybe I'm which
the second would be a Saturday. I don't think.
Then it's the 4th. I'm thinking
that'd be Monday the 4th, then, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It is the trade
2
deadline.
weeks away.
The trade deadline is election day, I think.
November 4th.
2 weeks from today.
Okay.
2 weeks from today.
Boom. There we go.
Exactly 2 weeks from today.
All right.
But I do feel
trade
bad for
season.
Norman Lott. It sucks, and that was a big part of their defensive plan was we'll get better in the defensive line because he'll develop, and now they'll have to wait a year and see what he's got next year.
A lot of people on the text line saying to go get Mike Pinnell back. He's on Cincinnati. How are you getting him back?
Send him a second-round pick, and they will gladly give you Mike Pinnell.
We're talking
back.
third for Kayvon Thibodeau, and I'm giving a second-round pick for
here's the thing.
Mike Pinnell.
I like Mike. I like Mike
playing.
Pinnell, and I don't want them once again. They already gave up a 7th rounder or 6th rounder, whatever it was
for Nadi.
I don't want them to now give up. I
Additional
understand.
7th.
I know it's late round pick, but like now you're going to trade 2. You're going to for 2 mistakes you made trying to get the exact same player back twice. That's just a terrible allocation of resources.
I agree.
7th round pick or not.
Can we finally make a trade for a younger player? We talked about this all the time when we were talking about, remember last year? And for the Royals even, we talked about like trade with control. This would be an interesting time for the defensive line because Chris Jones got a couple years left on this deal. And that out, which they do not have next year, is going to become very tempting unless he's going to rework his contract because he's very expensive and he's getting older. It's just the way it is. That's why George Karlaftis got the money. At some point, they're going to be allocating some big resources.
What are they going to,
on the defensive line?
Charles Omenihu is on a 1-year deal. He'll be a free agent right after this year. So they got some things that they need to
drafted
answer.
Gelati and Omar Norman
Sure.
and they'll draft another guy probably at the late first next year too, right?
Have to in one of the first 2 rounds next year.
Yeah, they'll be back in that market again next year. But
so they got an extra 4th.
Okay.
Which actually, in all honesty, if a 4th gets you, the better 4th gets you Kayvon Thibodeau, is that...
I would trade a 4th in a millisecond. I can't even...
I don't
4th and a future, 4th and a 7th or whatever?
I don't think a 4th round pick gets that done.
The other question, I guess, is when you get into situations like these, do you trade guys knowing that you're trying to give Jackson Dart the best possible path to success and winning? You're trying to win if you're the Giants. You're trying to figure out a way to keep your jobs and win. And it's like giving up Thibodeau is not exactly the maximum path in order to do that. They'd be a little bit further down my list in doing it, but we'll see. Meanwhile, one of the positions we talked about trading for was running back. You and I both don't think it's going to happen now. I want to caution maybe fantasy players, but also just Chiefs fans in general. If you box score that game yesterday, you're going to see that Brashard Smith got usage. He got carries. He got catches. He was involved in more than 50% of the offensive snaps. Like half the carries are all in garbage time, so just throw those out. Those only existed when Gardner Minshew got in the game and they didn't let that man throw a pass. So forget it. The passing part is real. And they have clearly, in my opinion, Cole, decided. And we know the roles now. This is why I like the running back room slightly better than I did a couple weeks ago is we firmed it up whether you like it or not. Isaiah Pacheco is our every down back. Our short yardage back, his name is Kareem Hunt. Our pass catching back, his name is Brashard Smith. Combined, they make one league average running back. I'm not trying to oversell what they are, but that's what they make. And every time Brashard Smith touches the ball, there's some juice. So if they can slowly work him in more so that occasionally he gets a carry to Gold, I can live with this trio of running backs moving forward.
I thought, though, in the passing game, before garbage time took place, Brashard Smith was more involved.
He was.
Not as you said, not late when it was clear. They was handed off Gardner Minshew every single time to Brashard Smith, so the carries don't matter. But I felt like earlier in the game, even when the game was quote unquote still in doubt, and there were more opportunities as a receiver for Brashard Smith. Andy Reid was asked about that a little bit today and brought up what we've brought up plenty of times, which is the fact that he was a receiver at Miami before he went to SMU and was a running back and all that. So they trust him there. I see a lot of the McKinnon comparisons. It's the comp that we've all given. I would argue he's not even that yet because they don't trust him on third downs to pass protect, whereas McKinnon was an awesome pass protector. So maybe eventually he gets into that role. But right now, they're not. I disagree with them using him like McKinnon. They're not because he hasn't pass protected at all. They're not having him in those spots. That would be using him like Jerick McKinnon. Kareem Hunt is the pass protector they trust the most.
I did think it was interesting when Andy was asked about it.
He has 0 pass blocking snaps. It's crazy.
I thought about Andy said that he likes having three because a lot of teams go to the duos, but he said he likes having three guys. So I thought that was just interesting in terms of the construction they have now.
Because he hates running backs. He doesn't want one he has to actually contribute to.
He feels comfortable that the three of them combined make up what he likes in a rotation, which still I think we all think they draft a running back just earlier on, I would say next year, just to try to move on, whether it's from Pacheco or Hunt or whatever.
It's interesting because Veach went the opposite direction as he had gone previous. He took a first-round running back, and then he's like, I'm never going to spend any kind of good asset on it ever again. I'm going to pick Kareem Hunt up for league minimum, essentially. I'm going to draft Pacheco in the 7th, Rashard Smith in the 7th. Look, they still don't like running the ball, but here's the thing. We talked about this. I don't care. What the hell do I care if they run the ball a bunch? Right now, they are one of the best passing teams in the NFL. They can just keep passing it. It's fine.
Well, because I think it helps the.
Still have to have some.
I'm not saying never run it. I'm just saying
it helps.
My only thing on the three running
balance doesn't bother me right now.
I think Andy definitely does like having multiple backs, and most teams do, unless you have a Saquon or a Derrick Henry type running back, or last night a Christian McCaffrey who was incredible.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But I also think he's saying he likes three running backs because that's what he has right now. He doesn't have a bell cow.
You're saying it was more because of what he has.
Yeah, and they make use of it, and that's fine.
I mentioned you'd rather have a Christian McCaffrey if given the choice.
Of course. But I think the three works because they don't have a true one.
I mean, because even like the Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, whatever it was, 12th, and they still use David Montgomery a very healthy amount. It just feels like that's the trend where at very minimum, a lot of teams just have, you got to have another guy to spell from time to time.
I can't get over looking at this box score from yesterday. Geno Smith, 67 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Genty, 6 carries. He only got 6 carries for 21 yards. There were 5 other carries between them. They managed 4
How many
yards.
third downs did they convert?
3. They had 70 total passing yards, 25 total rushing yards, and converted 3 total first downs. Do you realize the stat, like saying out loud without it being a lie, like not hyperbolic, that the Chiefs had 10 times the third down conversions as the Raiders did yesterday, and that not be hyperbolic? I'm not doing that for effect. They legitimately had 10 times the amount of third down conversions as the Raiders yesterday. This game's so hard because I want to take everything we saw in it seriously, and at the same time, I'm like, can I take any of it seriously? It was such an ass kicking. What can I genuinely take away from this game and be like, ooh, it's fact? Somebody pointed out that Noel Williams played 79% of the snaps. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Bob Tunyon played more snaps than Chris Jones.
It's even worse when
I don't know what to take serious.
Cody, it's even worse when you look at it. So they had 3 total first downs. 2 of them were passing. They had no rushing first downs. One of them was from a penalty. So really, the offense only had 2 first downs. They were 0 for 7 on third down. They didn't complete a single third down the entire game.
Remarkably enough, I still saw some Raiders fans complaining about the refs, which I thought was a treat.